from 62 to 64.
Speaking on France Interradio, Laurent Berger, the head of the CFDT union, says President Emmanuel Macron should put the retirement reform on hold while, he says, we sit around the table in order to see where there might or might not be a social compromise. It must be clearly announced that this reform will not be implemented and that we're focusing on a path of discussion. Macron has made the reforms the priority of his second term. I'm Charles Tilledesma.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited northern Ukraine, touring recent days areas that have felt the brunt of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. News and analysis at townhall.com. Japan and the U.S. have an agreement on trade in crucial minerals for electric vehicle batteries.
The deal is expected to make electric vehicles using metals processed in Japan to qualify for tax incentives under President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. The two sides have agreed to not impose export duties on trade in lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel, and graphite, all strategically important minerals. The U.S. and Japan have been seeking to diversify their supply chains in such resources to reduce their dependence on minerals sourced from or processed in China. Jeremy House reporting.
More stormy weather on the way to California. Weather forecasters expect more heavy rains, snow, and the higher elevations to arrive in California by this evening. They say that flooding is possible in some of the low-lying areas. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy, not Monday.
Nope.
It's Tuesday.
It is the truest of all the days.
Welcome to it. And it's going to be Chile.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crisp out there this morning.
It is.
That was the term I got. I didn't notice it so much getting in the car because I'm in the garage, open the door and all. But when I got out to get into to work here, I get out and I'm like, it's crisp out. Like, I felt like I was in like an Angry Orchard commercial.
Mm-hmm. just little drips of water slowly cascading down.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Just a crisp fall, even though I know it is spring technically, but it felt fall-like.
Like you go with Angry Orchard.
Yeah, that's all I think of.
Right?
It's like crisp.
It's crisp.
Apples crisp.
I feel like I'm in an ad for Truly. It doesn't work as well, you're right. Gotta have the same ring to it.
Well, you need that leaf falling feel because it just feels like fall out there.
It's got a real Topo Chico vibe outside. Real crisp.
Pepperidge Farm knows.
Pepperidge Farm knows.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes, welcome to it.
It is a crisp morning, so you want to put on a jacket when
do
you
the
get
New
out
Mexico
today.
thing. Dress in layers.
That's right. Well, our high is not even that high today. Like, our high is 58 officially.
Oh, I'm going to have to go home and grab a hoodie.
So, we're not even going to get to 60, allegedly, today. So, but tomorrow is supposed to be back up into, like, upper 70s, I think, and all that. So, it's just today. And then it warms back up.
Just one weird, quick anomaly.
Yes.
And then it's back to semi-normalcy.
There you go. So, light jacket, and you'll maybe be shedding maybe to your long sleeve tee. by mid-afternoon. So I hope your day's going all right so far.
Oh, yeah.
It is early, a lot of time to turn it around. So I got a full slate for you today. We got to replay actually a couple of interviews. We had John and Crystal Noble. This time we're doing Roswell Seed with John. John led the discussion. But you know what's funny? You can tell they're a married couple.
Oh yeah,
just the way they talk and interact.
When you've been with someone or you're actually with someone, you have a certain chemistry. It's like you and Kim. You have this back and forth.
Sure,
it's just a natural thing.
And it's on full display. And then I just sat and watched it a couple times. And, where
they finish each other's sandwiches,
or blame each other for things that went wrong. She's the one running around out here doing this, and he's like, "Well, he's the one who did this."
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of that, but it's funny. So we talk about bees mostly, but about seed and other things too, but mostly about bees. And so this is the last week. If you've been interested in being a beekeeper, they've been taking orders for bees. You get 3 pounds of bees. Yeah.
3 pounds of bees. That's right. Bees are measured in pounds.
You get a 3-pound bag of bees.
How many bees is that? I'll say about 3 pounds.
It's a lot of bees.
I was attacked by 17 pounds of bees.
They say in the interview, but I want to say it's like 1,000 bees per pound or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you need to have like facilities if you're going to do something like this.
Yeah. It's you need a hive.
Oh yeah.
I think it's enough for a hive.
Okay.
Whatever.
If you're a hoarder and you're like somebody who like just has like stacks of newspapers, beekeeping probably is not for you. They're not just going to be companion animals hanging out around the house.
It's my support bees.
You've given yourself an invasive species if that's what you're doing.
But so we talk about bees. It's actually very interesting. I like it. So, but we're gonna talk about what's going on at Roswell Seed with them.
I thought this was chick day. Why do I have 300 pounds of bees?
Honey barbecue chicken.
Just instantly. So I was like, well, you're doing bee days. They're doing chick days up the road. You start your own farm.
And we doing coleslaw days.
I know, right? How come nobody ever does pulled pork days?
Man, we need a party here. We get enough of these days going on. First it starts with gun days, then it starts with chicken days. Anyway, we're going to talk Roswell Seed stuff this hour then. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Peggy Bolin is going to join us talking about Camp Invention. And we're coming up on a deadline here. Of course, the camp itself will be here in June 5th through the 9th. But March 30th is a deadline to save $25 off your camp fee. But if you don't make it by March 30th, they have another discount. It's a less of a discount than the current 25.
But also, bear in mind, partial scholarships are available if the need is there.
Sure. And then they also have a multiple kid scholarship or discount that goes on as well. And that continues on. So if you have more than one child, which many people do, it's a thing.
Yeah, turns out. We did this once. You're going to do it again.
Yeah. And so if you do that, you can save a few shekels doing that too. But we'll talk with Peggy in the 8 o'clock hour, get the full rundown on Camp Invention for this year. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, going to replay our interview we had with VFW Post 12184 and the folks from Healing America's Heroes. They've got a golf tournament coming up in May, which they are now signing folks up for, including taking sponsorships. Plus, we also talk about Healing America's Heroes, a great organization that helps veterans and first responders with PTSD. It's a grassroots here in New Mexico. They've got a facility up in Ruidoso, and they focus on PTSD therapy through equine therapy, which is with horses, and fly fishing.
Yes.
Actually, fly fishing, not dressing fly and fishing.
Yeah, which is also fun. Man, you look at fly.
Is that MC Hammer out there?
It is.
Looking fly and fishing?
Cast his line. Uh-oh. Here comes a catfish.
Hook 'em time.
Hook 'em time.
All right, on that note, I'm going to fantasize about fishing with MC Hammer. You get to enjoy the weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have some dry and cooler weather coming our way for today. Wall-to-wall sunshine and our high temperature hitting the low 60s for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. Fair weather for the overnight hours, and our lows are dropping off right around 35 degrees. Some sunshine coming back in for tomorrow, increasing southerly winds and an increase in our temperature from the upper 70s to near 80. Sunny and windy by Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 33%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Sunny skies today, cooler. Like I said, we're not expected to hit the 60s. They say 58 officially for our high today. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 15 miles per hour, shifting to the southeast this afternoon. Mostly clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 34 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. They'll drop down 5 to 10 after midnight tonight. For your Wednesday, warming up. Sunny, mid-70s tomorrow, 76 officially with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear skies tomorrow night with an overnight low of 45 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, 80s. That's the good news. Mostly sunny. Highs in the 80s, 83. But expect some areas of blowing dust for the afternoon on Thursday. Windy with south wind 10 to 20, early 20 to 30, increasing and gusting as high as 40 miles per hour by Thursday afternoon. Thursday night, areas of blowing dust before 7 p.m., otherwise mostly clear with an overnight low of 45. Winds will remain windy. Friday, sunny and breezy, high of 72. Saturday, sunny, 76 for a high, and then sunny and 83 on Sunday. So, cooler today, but warming up. Got a little bit of wind to worry about on Thursday there, but not too bad overall. All right, it is 7:15. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report recap with Smiley Wooten here in just a second. Quick commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview with John and Crystal Noble from Roswell Seed talking about bees and plants and all that stuff, too. That's up next. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 889 head of cattle sold on Monday on a steady to slightly higher market with excellent buyer attendance compared to last week. Stocker calves sold steady, feeder cattle steady to 5 higher, packer cows sold steady, packer bulls $3 to $5 higher. 3 to 400 pound steers $244, $251, 3 to 400 pound heifers $223, $235, 4 to 500 pound steers $231, $244, 4 to 500 pound heifers $195, $223, 5 to 600 pound steers $219, $231, 5 to 600 pound heifers $181, $195, 6 700 pound steers $189, $219, 6 700 pound heifers $151, $181, 7 800 pound steers $171 to $189, 7 800 pound heifers $147, $151, packer cows $90 to $103, canner and cutter cows $70 to $80, packer bulls $1 to $118, feeder bulls $87 to $92, top half the cow-calf pairs $1,300 to $1,600 per pair, and the bred cows not well tested this week. Expecting a better run for next week. Thank you for the business. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Believe it or not, your home insurance company isn't evil. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here. A lot of roofers make your insurance company out to be your enemy. They'll talk about fighting and battling your insurance to get you the claim you deserve. But honestly, your insurance company is a group of people just like you and me. That's why we don't treat your roof insurance claim like we're going to war. We treat it like a court case. We provide your insurance company every piece of evidence needed to get you the highest possible claim. We submit photos, videos, detailed documents, and line-by-line estimates. And guess what? Our non-combat approach works. On 92% of roof insurance claims, we get the highest amount the first time. And the rare times we don't, well then, that's when we go to bat for you. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first. Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-503-3735. 800-503-3735. 800-503-3735. That's 800-503-3735.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Roswell Seed, John Noble in studio this morning.
Yes, I made it today.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And his better half, Crystal Noble, as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know how to say that. Just keep even if it's not true.
She's kind of like, what is it? You guys have the bleep button?
Yeah, the dump button.
This is my dump button. So,
John's dump button.
There's not a camera over here to watch the leg kick of, don't say that.
Of course, you got to be careful. Your dump button gets sassy, too.
I'm not allowed to kick anything, I don't even have the look. I can't even go, do that whole.
Right, can't get the look.
Yeah, can't get the look in anymore.
She does it back tenfold, and you're like, all right, never mind.
Yeah. Oh, she has that thing that's like, you're fat, you want to eat? Yes, dear.
Yeah, they do. The wife can hold certain things over your head sometimes.
Oh, a lot.
Win every time.
Yeah.
So. If you do want marriage help, they will be happy to tell you about that later on.
Marriage help. Keep a nice yard because you might be outside a lot.
That's right. Why do you think their house is so great? John spends a lot of time outside.
Yeah. I put in a requisition form for an air conditioning in the doghouse.
There you go.
For the animals, actually.
You remember the old cribs from MTV? Maybe we do dog houses and then do a man version, and it's like, when I get in trouble, this is my dog house.
Yeah.
And we go there.
I had to make the door bigger so I can get in a lot easier.
And the older you get, the wider the door gets.
Yeah, the wider the door gets. Trying for a remote now for it to come open.
But weirdly, the door gets smaller, shrinking wise. It's less tall but wider.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
So. But, of course, if you're wanting to know how to make sure your yard looks great, or if you're trying to grow your garden, or if you're a commercial side and you're in the farming and ranching and need help, of course, Roswell Seed is the first name, in this area for 120, 30, 5,000 years now.
We're 125 this year.
Yeah. There was one time where only things on Earth were the Great Wall of China and Roswell Seed.
More or less, yeah.
They sold the rice to plants in China.
That's right. Matter of fact, a few bushes.
Yeah.
No.
We had the fertilizer for them too. So,
but when that's just in case you're new to the area and haven't know, when it comes to your official source of growing anything in southeast New Mexico, Roswell Seed is really after 100 and some years of trial and error, you tend to get good at it after a while.
A lot of trial, a lot of error. We have had some error, but it's funny how even people that have lived here, like most of their lives, they're like, we've never been in the store. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, welcome.
It is an icon. It's a staple. It's I imagine at some point when, in the future, they might even want to put a historical landmark on that building because it really is. It is an icon here in Roswell.
Second oldest building next to the Institute.
Really?
Yeah, the Institute was built.
They got you beat by just a little bit.
I don't know when the Institute was built. Our building was built in 1911.
You probably built the building right after when they said, you can go in. Right after when they said, hey, Nimmy needs some grass.
Yeah. Because Jim's great-grandfather, he had a store farther in town.
Yeah.
And our store when it was built in 1911, that was the very last building.
Okay.
There was nothing south of us, and they told them, you won't make it. It's too far south. So there was there was 2 internment camps, and then the saloon.
Okay.
Way off. And
I guess they're thinking people from the internment camp didn't have a lot of growing seed needs. So.
And they're not gonna,
And a lot of people don't realize that Roswell Seed, his great-great-grandfather was the first postal delivery of Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Man.
His great-grandfather did it. He was I think it was called the provost marshal.
Okay.
And then he was like the assistant fire chief.
Wow.
And then
how cool is that?
Delivered mail.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a photo in one of the Roswell history books that has a wagon and a horse, and it says Roswell Seed on the side, and he's delivering mail. It says Roswell Seed mail delivery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come a long ways to say.
Yeah, I'm going to say, that was kind of a one-stop shop. It's like, here's your seeds, and your bills, and, Publishers Clearinghouse. Here you go.
If you ever been to our store, that was actually 2 stores.
Okay.
So there was a seed store on one side, and there was a grocery store on the other side.
Okay, so it's kind of a 5 and dime general store slash.
So our store actually has 2 separate addresses. It has 115 and 117.
Okay, so it's technically 2 businesses.
It's 2 businesses, yeah.
Okay.
And you could buy seed and stuff. Okay. And we, a couple of years ago, of course, I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was hiding in one of the warehouses and found one of the old shopping carts.
Okay.
That was in the original store. And there was 2 of them. I brought them up. And they're very, very small. And people were like, I was like, well, back then they didn't have refrigerators.
Sure.
You bought groceries every single day.
You bought a couple days worth at a time, maybe, depending if you keep it.
And so, that was kind of like one of the little iconic things you push around. I mean, they look like little kids' shopping carts, but they're
that's cool.
And they're heavier than anything.
But, well, they're built to last. That's why today they don't the plastic.
Because it was funny because Dad was all like, "Where'd you find those?" I was all like, "Oh, yeah, I couldn't lie. He already knew what I was doing, so it's not like I could really lie to him."
I was doing inventory on blah, 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 blah,
yeah, inventory time, whatever.
That's code for slacking off.
Yeah.
But we did talk a little bit about the bees. I know last time you guys were on a couple weeks ago here, we were kind of entering into that season of if you want to get your orders in. Now we're in the 2-minute warning.
Basically,
if you want to get bees, we can get you in there, but you might want to get it done this week. Don't anything after this. We're short on supply.
Right, and how it works is call up to the store. We'll put your name down on the list. Bee packages are $250. And you get a clip queen. It's 3 pounds of bees, and when people 3 pounds of bees. 3 pounds of bees is a lot.
It's about 30,000 bees.
I'm about to say, I'm guesstimating, yes, thousands of bees. I'm assuming, yeah.
And but that doesn't include.
She got a fat queen.
Yeah, she's larger. You can't say fat anymore. Right. But that doesn't include the hive or anything else. That's just the bees.
That's just bees.
Yeah, and I always kind of tell people that are starting out, this is an expensive little hobby when you start off, but it's just kind of like anything else, any other kind of hobby that you kind of deal with.
Sure. You'll make your money back if you do it.
Next thing you know, you got you do, I got like 3 or 4 hives, I don't use it, take them. Right. You got, go ahead and take it. And then all of a sudden you start looking around and you're like, I got a lot of crap. Well, I got beehives, I got smokers, I got all this stuff.
And I imagine you get a few people that went gung-ho with it.
Oh, yeah.
And then turned out, this is a job, and it takes more time than I've got available, and then you end up with their stuff.
It does require a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And ironically, once you start a hive, they are self-sufficient.
I was going to say, is it a lot of maintenance, or is it once the setup?
No, it is a lot of maintenance, but they are self-sufficient. You have to keep wax moths out. You have to keep rodents out because they're attracted to
just
the
like
honey.
Crops or whatever. You have to spray or whatever you got to do to keep the predators out.
Right.
Same deal here.
Yeah. I mean, and then bee placement, the closer they are to food and water, happier they are.
Sure.
If you plan on putting it out on farmland, most of the farmers here in the valley, they welcome it.
Okay.
They love it. We're very fortunate. Our bees are on the Duffy's property.
Okay.
And Jason and James Duffy, they're amazing guys. They buy bee safe insect repellent, and when they spray
so they kind of work as a neighbor.
Oh he loves it.
Well, and let's face it, I'm guessing you're scratching their back because your bees are pollinating their stuff. You know what I mean?
All over the place.
And that's just a gee whiz question. Like if you buy some bees on your property, what's kind of the range that they'll go out
3
to pollinate?
miles.
3 miles.
3 miles.
3 miles in any direction.
Okay.
Bees can only fly when the sun rises.
Okay.
And when the sun starts to set, they come back because they cannot see at night. They use the sun to directionalize what they're doing and where they're going.
So they kind of got a little like bat-like thing going on there a little
More
bit.
or less.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, or unless you're
playing with flashlights in the night.
Which I told her not to. I told her, don't use the lights on the truck. She's sitting there with a flashlight, and the bees just started heading towards her. And, yeah, it's kind of funny when you turn the light off and go running across the pasture, and it's night, and the sounds that you hear. She came back. She looked like a powdered donut.
Bees.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's fun. It's really fun.
I can imagine. It's a lot of fun.
The only part that really, really sucks is obviously we have to have bee suits, and they're very thick. And if bees did this in the wintertime, it would be great.
Sure.
But no, it's in the summertime, so it's hot.
Different.
It is very hot when you have to put that bee suit on and check the bees in the summertime. But in the end, you get that.
The reward
nice,
is local
sweet
fresh honey.
And it helps allergies.
Yeah, and you start doing honey, you'd be surprised how many friends you have.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how's it going? The first time she went out with me and we did it, and I suited her up. I wasn't that much of a meanie, but I suited her up, and I told her, I said, when I pop the top, bees are going to come out. Don't freak out. You know, they're going to want to, they climb on you. They want to know what you are. They taste you.
They're curious.
Yeah. And started pulling it off. Well, I was a little late in getting to the extracting of the honey, and bees will make comb and honey anywhere.
They're hoarders.
Yeah, they really are. They use as much space as they can.
Okay.
And
they're
so
just like, I'm here to do this. Is what I'm doing. Yeah.
And they'd start building honey on top of the frames, which that's what lines the boxes. So I pulled the top off, and she has her matte veil and stuff on. All I hear is whoa. And I was all like, okay. So we're going through the process of getting everything. And I have this thing, they're called hive tools, is what you use. It's a little common tool. It's got a scraper on one end. So I had scraped off some of the top comb of that honey. And I had honeycomb, and I was like, here, you want it? Try it. And she just, then I'm like, ew. I mean, it's a rusty spoon that you stuck in your mouth. So little did we know.
The antioxidants from the honey counteracted the rust, and we all need that iron that comes in rust.
Little did we know that, we'll say, honey badger, she's got another name, doesn't eat a lot of sugar.
Oh.
And when we were doing the processing, she was kind of the middleman, so we were handing off frames and stuff like that. Well, she was eating the honey and the captain the comb, and like 15 minutes later, we looked over,
got a sugar
and
rush.
her eyeballs are like slapping in her head, you know, and I'm just all like, uh-oh.
Well, it became so good. I like honey. Honey's so good.
Oh, yeah, couldn't forget. The dogs were always around her. The dogs were stuck together. I mean, she had honey dripping down her mouth. I'm like, I like bees. We're going to do this again. We're going to eat it. I was like, yeah,
That's
no problem.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, just curious, like if you get 3 pounds of bees, like, assuming you do everything correctly, what kind of production can you expect from that?
Generally, a super yields about 30 pounds of honey.
Okay, in a season?
Oh, no. Well, you can do it multiple. You can, if you have ideal conditions, you can get up to like 3 harvests.
Okay.
Generally, about mid-September is I pull everything off.
Okay.
That's it. And then, you know.
Now, do you have to replenish the bees every year, or do they? Because I know they hibernate, but bees don't live for years like other things. They don't.
Their life cycle is about 90 days.
Okay.
So as long as you have a good, strong queen, that's what you want. That's what keeps the.
So will the queen
hive
live longer than that?
She'll live anywhere between 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Depending on.
So you can buy a queen, and in theory, they will create a harvest for the 3 to 5 years, depending on the.
Now, if they don't accept the queen, they will swarm. And we had that happen last year. We actually watched them swarm right in front of us.
Oh, wow.
So if they don't like the queen, they'll book it, and they'll make their own queen.
Okay. So what happens to the other queen? Is she just ousted and
SOL.
she dies? Is that what happens?
because she can't fly if you buy the package.
Okay.
She's got clipped wings, so she can't fly.
I got you.
So she stays put.
I didn't know if they make her a worker bee or how that works.
No, they just generally if they don't like her, they'll just kill her.
Okay.
So and then there's telltale things to look for.
It's not always good to be the queen. Just saying.
No.
It's good, and it's not even good to be the drone because all they do is mate. But right after that, they get killed.
They're done too.
Yeah.
So when you have your hive body, that is what they live on.
Okay.
That's where they make more bees, and that's where they have their food storage. So you
Okay.
never want to take from that.
Gotcha.
So
That's
you have
kinda
the
your-
super, which is the top box.
Okay.
So that's what we take.
That's kind of like if you had money in a bank, that's your initial investment. You don't mess with that. You just take the money it's making.
Right,
right.
basically.
Same principle there with the honey. Gotcha.
And we got beekeepers, and their bees are extremely tame.
Okay.
You know, they don't really have to suit up, you know, and
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Well, if they're used to being handled, I imagine
Right.
the more they get used, the more comfortable they are with
The
it.
better the environment, the happy they are.
Gotcha.
If
'Cause
they're
they come from Eden, you know, Navasota, Texas, gorgeous. It's green, it's beautiful. After about 2 weeks here, they're ticked. You know, they're mad.
The
You know?
weather stinks. They're
like,
too
it's
hot,
hot,
dry.
it's gross, it's
We got to
disgusting.
travel for food.
We
yeah.
set up a hive for Port Claire's.
Yes.
And the nuns there, and extremely, it's really pretty on the inside. They have flowers, and they're very self-sufficient. So they set up a hive of bees. Well, the one that's taking care of all of this called. She had some concerns, so we go down there. You know, naturally, we always try to help out people, even new beekeepers. I'll, make time to go either talk to them or show them when we're doing everything.
You have a passion for the thing, and you want others to
Yeah,
succeed.
it's-
So you're like, I'm going to show you the right way, so you have success and do this on
and
your
not
own.
Screw, not screw up like I have. But
Don't
their
learn the
bees,
hard way.
Yeah, their bees are extremely gentle.
Okay.
But they are underneath this big, beautiful tree.
Sure.
And they get scripture read to them all the time. And so they interact with people quite a bit.
It's kind of
They, one of the sisters was telling us that they have scheduled times where, so when you take care of this area, you take care of this area, you're designated your areas. Well, they each take 30 minutes out of their day to go sit next to the beehive and read to the bees.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they're in
they don't have to suit up. They don't have to do anything. They just walk up to the bees, take the lid off, check the bees.
Sure. And they know because they're used to it. They know, hey, this is a good thing, not a bad thing. We don't get up in arms, and this is part of the routine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: for our new folks out here, they're going to come to Roswell Seed and start this. When you're setting up that location for your beehive, what's ideal conditions? What should be some things you make sure you have nearby, or things that you have
Out of direct wind.
Okay.
Food and water.
Food and water.
Food and water close
Shade
by.
would be pretty decent
Yeah,
for them.
I mean, we have people that they put them underneath trees. That works.
Okay.
So
now out in the direct sun's probably not a best idea. Maybe something with some
all
shade.
ours are.
Okay.
Ours are, but that's also why they're not the happiest.
Yeah. You just want to try to take care of it. It's a living animal. It's a
Absolutely,
living
yeah.
being. So you try to take care of it as best you
Okay.
can. Don't really suggest putting it in the corner of like your fence because it does get extremely hot. Most people don't realize it. Or putting it up against like a concrete building.
So a place that has
Yeah.
some flow through and
Right,
some area
air
where
and
they can
stuff
get
like
some
that.
cool down
And,
temperatures.
They'll be fine.
Some place where a building or something wouldn't heat it up more unnecessarily with sun
Yeah.
direct and all that.
But
Okay.
I mean, you figure that, they found honey in Cleopatra's tomb that was edible. And
It never goes bad.
It never goes bad as long as
Yeah.
you don't mix it with anything. So, I mean, if anybody's seen the pictures of that, there's really no trees out there. So the bees were out in the wide open no matter what.
But I'm
So-
just thinking, like, if you want to make them happy, give them a little bit of an environment. Give them some plant life nearby to
There are
to eat
special
and to
flowers that bees thrive on.
Okay.
There are things that they don't really like to pollinate, but they will if that's their only source.
Okay.
If you provide them the things that they like that grow here naturally, or that do well here, your honey will be exquisite.
Okay.
The Mexican flower, sunflower looking one. What's that one called?
Maximilian? No.
Yeah, Maximilian.
Okay. Is that one of the
That is one of the
favorites?
flowers. And ironically,
Okay.
there's a plant called catnip. It's not like the catnip.
Different product, same name.
Yes.
It's like milkweed.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
and
actually a milkweed
they
plant.
love it.
And that's kind of one of their go-tos as well, too.
There's a tree, and I'm going to get it, and it's called the black locust.
Okay.
There we go.
Unfortunately, this tree is a kind of like an elm tree. Once it gets so big, it sheds pods. Trees pop up everywhere.
Okay. So it's kind of a hardy plant.
It is a very hardy plant, but they grow over 100 feet tall.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're talking like Oregon forest tree
We're
size
we're
here. Yeah.
talking that, we're scaring the farmer where we have our Because she's coming up with all these great ideas, and he's just like, no.
Okay, so he said I could plant one tree, but I have to do it on the far way back corner.
Yeah.
But, one, it'll provide some shade for them.
Sure.
It'll provide shade for the deers. They're feeding the deer out there, too, now.
Oh, God.
So
she's going to create her own habitat.
She wanted to go pet a deer the other night. We went out there, and we were checking on the bees and stuff, and there's a huge herd out there.
Yeah.
And she was like, ooh. I was like, you know what?
We all know she is an animal lover. I mean,
I took her to a dairy once, and she wanted to go pet one of the dairy cows. That didn't work out too well.
I did too when I was a kid. And I ended up with crap all over my hands.
Okay, so as a kid, I was terrified of cows because their tongues are like as long as my arm.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're huge.
Well, of course, and then moving and getting to live with a cow, they're not that bad.
Think of the damage I could do if I had 4 stomachs. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. A buffet would never be the same.
I'm so envious of them. I'm so envious of them. Why can't I have 4 stomachs?
Yeah.
But, yes, I wanted to pet the cow, and I walked up to the fence, and they all took off, and I was so hurt. Man, I was so hurt.
They weren't down with your...
I was laughing my butt off. I thought it was great. I already knew what was coming.
But that's why you guys live in the country. You get to do that, and you get to have your, and that's why your dogs and everybody. It's a fun little thing, and the bees are just another level of that out at the ranch there.
But a lot of people do not realize if we lose our population of bees, we lose a lot of things that we benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a garden, they will pollinate your garden.
I'm about to say, you got that's cheap labor right there that you got right there
very
free, cheap. and I would imagine. I know Roswell Seed's got lots of things to help your gardens look good, but they can't match Mother Nature.
No, we can't.
And the bees.
We've tried. Didn't work out. That was that trial and error.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, not just, you get pollination, you get the sweet stuff. If you render down the beeswax, people make candles. So
there's a lot of other uses besides honey there, too.
I have like a whole paper on it. I mean, it doesn't cure like freckles or height or anything. But other than that, there's a lot of stuff you can mix with it.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of people, they come in. A lot of our woodworkers, guys, that do real fine cabinetry work, they come in to get the beeswax because they put it on their saw blades and the wood doesn't splinter. And they always tell you to put beeswax on a screw or a nail if you're driving in, it won't split the wood. That's actually true. I ate crow that day.
I wonder if, surfers and all that, I know they use wax on the boards. I imagine it's a composite now, but I wonder if they started off with a beeswax or something like that.
Yeah, because beeswax is waterproof, but you will stick. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Get beeswax in your hair one time. It was really a lot of fun.
Way worse than peanut butter.
Yeah,
or
way
gum.
worse. Yeah.
We were making candles. I was trying to hustle.
Yeah.
Were you doing the old school, like I remember back in Scouts where they teach us to make candles and you had the wax and it was all heated up and you're just basically dipping the wick back and forth, and forth.
She got molds. I just poured in the molds, but doing the colors and the scents and stuff like that. And we first started out doing it, and I deal in seed. I help you grow it or kill it, one or the other. You know? I'm not a candle guy,
right? That's
so we were learning.
That.
I was kind of look at I studied. No, I didn't. I just kind of looked through the pictures and was like, oh yeah,
sure.
So started doing this stuff, and I'd ordered some scents, and of course, I'm a Marine, so we don't play nice. So I ordered like blueberry pie and cheesecake scents, and I made all these little candles just to see how it would burn and what it would smell like.
Sure.
And I'd light them all, and I'd put them all in the office, and I'd leave. And 30 minutes later, come back, and all you can hear all these stomachs graggling. And I'm all like, what? I'm going to put those things out. No. So, yeah, you can have fun with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, restaurants, that's the move right there. Just start putting these scented candles. The next thing you know, you see your sales go up. You wonder why.
And most people don't realize, but beeswax candles, only candles that you can burn in a church.
Really?
Yeah, because it doesn't emit smoke.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that until the sisters told us.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's all. Like the candles that you see in all the churches.
Yeah.
They're all beeswax candles because they don't emit smoke.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, but beeswax is flammable. Letting that one the hard way.
It will catch on fire.
Yeah, it will catch on fire.
But it's not smoky.
Yeah, kind of did that first time rendering beeswax and had a little accident. Blew the lid right off of this thing like 20 feet in the air. It looked like napalm. It was pretty cool.
Bees.
Yeah.
When you're rendering down the beeswax, it is a long process because the purer you want the wax, the more you have to render it.
Gotcha.
So you render it, let it sit.
So it's probably
cut
like
the impurities off, redo it, cut the impurities off, redo it, cut the impurities off. You can actually get beeswax. It's naturally a golden yellow color.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually get it to almost white.
Oh wow!
But
so it's
that
almost
takes a lot of rendering.
distilling whiskey or something. Probably a lot of the same.
Well, less than or more than whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, whiskey. You just
but same
one
kind of
time put in a
dedication
bottle
to it. Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you know, anybody that knows Jim Gill knows that he doesn't get excited, and it's way worse since I showed up like 10 years ago. Because he just comes out and he just looks and he just turns around and goes back inside doing something, blew something up or whatever.
Hey, it's trial and error. Part of life.
But he is not innocent himself. He has his own little, hey, let's try this.
Yeah. Dad's an engineer. That's what he went to college for. So he engineers this stuff.
So he's blown up a few things himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the potato gun was not a good idea.
I was going to say. Yeah. Apple, not far from tree here. It's just,
I've been trying now for 5 years. We've been trying to build a trebuchet.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and no. Well, we actually went and found out from the city, it's legal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you don't even need a permit for it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
odd, but okay.
Most people, because we were doing that because there's the Chavez County Giant Pumpkin Growers Association.
Oh, I'm very familiar. And Jim Gill has been talking smack and participating in that for many moons.
That's part of it. When you look at the bylaws, it is. And I believe Terry Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that owns Terry's Cafe right there by Cell Barn. So he's won that award like 3 years in a row.
So he's like the reigning champ.
Oh yeah, he's great at it. But they were like, well, what do we do? And so we came up with the idea: we'll build a trebuchet, and we could launch these pumpkins and just have fun with them or whatever.
That's a strong trebuchet because those are like 300-400 pound pumpkins, aren't they?
Yeah, but
more.
We're Roswell Seed. I mean, you go big or go home. I mean,
Oh, that trebuchet's crying when they pick that thing
up. But we talked to a couple of local farmers, and they're, we got the land, launch them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you want to launch a 400 pound pumpkin across it? Yeah, I'm in.
One, they just want to see if it's going to work.
Right. Nothing else. I just want to see what blows up.
Anybody who's bad at shooting skeet, that would be the best thing to do. Be like, skeet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you miss that,
you're in a lot of trouble.
Then perhaps pick up a different sport.
Well, one of the farmers, he wanted to do it because he was wanting to plant pumpkins, and like he said, well, if it blows up and shatters, it's going to throw seed. I don't have to plant. And we were like, that's a good idea. We're going to go off. I mean, we had this whole thing, and trying to pitch this idea to Dad. Dad's like, no. It's like no. And then we got to, you got to look past the potato gun.
I just got this image. Everyone walking in the house just covered in pumpkin guts, and they're like,
actually, yeah.
And the backyard scene, just walk backyard scene. They're just covered in pumpkin guts and just
spaghetti hair.
Right.
Yeah, it's just that trial and error. You got to, but it's good. I mean, it'd be great fertilizer. It's all natural.
Exactly. Yeah.
People come in all the
beginning
time.
of your compost.
I'm about to say this is composting level 10 right here.
Oh yeah. And generally, when people, they don't throw them away. They take them down to the zoo and they let the animals have them.
Absolutely. Feed them as enrichment stuff. Yeah.
And the animals, they love it and stuff. And yeah.
Well, I don't know how many times I see that a lot, especially around the Halloween holiday where you have your pumpkins, and then instead of just throwing them in the trash or something, especially if you live out in the country, you just throw them up against a tree or something. The deer will get them eventually. You know what I mean? It's like don't throw them in the trash. Just put them up that tree and let the deer or someone feed off of them.
They eat off of it.
Yeah.
And if you're like Benny Wooten, and who does the Roswell Livestock auction, he had
most
really
recognizable voice in town. Robert.
Yeah, he has one. He had really nice pumpkin one year. Well, he brought it down. It was during COVID, so we weren't having normally we have this like dinner and everything that goes on, and then we weigh all the pumpkins, and whatever champion or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And
we
the talking
couldn't do it
begins.
this year, but he brought it down because he was getting a weight on his no matter what. And yeah, can you guys hold on to it for us? Yeah, we'll hold on to it for you. You know, big deal. Well, it ended up rotting and falling apart. Well, he wanted the seeds out of it because naturally it was a good pumpkin.
Exactly.
So the seeds, yeah. You know, old farm trick. You know, that's why we clean seeds.
The lineage of those seeds are heavy, so we need them, yeah.
And he was just, he was heartbroken. We were like, yeah, we're sorry. Oh, I forgot about it. I told him, I said, hey, I got some seeds for sale. They came out of a really nice pumpkin. And he's just sitting there looking at it. I was like, no, we didn't.
You should just have all been eating pie when he walked in.
Oh, yeah, that would have been great. You know, just give him a pumpkin pie. Hey, here's your pumpkin that you wanted.
Here's what's left.
Yeah. I wish I would have thought of that. I would have put it on a pallet and put it in his truck.
Then hand him 1 can of whipped cream. Here you go.
Yeah, because I mean, most people they don't realize. I think we had a 580-pound pumpkin one year. I mean, we almost broke the 600 pound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And when we do it, it's like kind of official. I mean, we take our scale down, which is calibrated by the state. And then Candy Azell, she comes down, so she's our official state representative. And we weigh them up. And it's just fun. Just something simple, something easy.
And it's tradition now at this point.
Yeah.
And you kind of know. And to be honest, when I think of fair season, one of the top 3-4 things I think of is that pumpkin contest.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so much going on, but I'm like, I'm going into the education building and see what kind of gelatinous pumpkins they turned out this year. Yeah. You know, I'm going to see it.
And then it just gives them a chance to
they all look like
cut up.
They all look like those pumpkins all look like those people from those like 1,000-Pound Sisters or those shows.
Yeah, kind of flat, rounded over. Yeah,
where they exceed the frame of their body and they just start melting into this other shape.
Because I mean, constantly, you got the guys that come in. Okay, what do I spray on it to kill the weeds? But don't kill the pumpkin. Or what? Best fertilizer and all this. It's like, okay, we'll help out and stuff.
But not giving you the good secrets because we got to win the pumpkin.
Yeah. But I mean, they're just the same as everybody else that comes in and asks.
It's sure.
It's hey, what do I do about this? Well, yeah, okay.
Well, I mean,
it's weed season, so we understand what's going on.
Well, and let's face it. I imagine, there's a lot of things you can do to be proactive and make sure it happens right. But a lot of it's luck too. It's just. Was the water plentiful this year? How was the soil? I mean, it is a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Sometimes the environment worked perfectly, and you got a bigger pumpkin. This year, it's like, we had some colder days, and it didn't. It didn't. It's just life and farming. That's how it works.
I'd be up there with the UV light.
Yeah.
Like the suntan thing.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't realize that. We always come up with, well, I read it on the internet. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. That's just mere guideline. I mean, our area is an anomaly. Mm-hmm. I mean, your soil changes 7 different times from north end town, south end. Water
I
5.
can imagine.
If you live on the west side of town, you're dealing with caliche and rocks. If you're living on the east side of town, you're dealing with 500 years of cow crap.
And I imagine with the underwater aquifers and everything is here, that's how all that traveled and moved and everything. So, the part that makes Roswell great in terms of water, we don't deal with the issues that other parts of the state deal with.
Right.
But with that creates some of that uniqueness you're talking about. That's why our soil is so from one end of the map to the other on, those things. Like if you're, for most of us, it don't matter a hill of beans if you're not trying to do anything with it. But if you're a farmer or a rancher in the industry and you're like, I need the best place to grow alfalfa, you're going to want to pay attention very quickly on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would attribute probably the aquifers and everything, the water. The thing that makes it a blessing here is kind of also creating that diversity of soil a little bit here.
And everybody, how do you know so much? Well, we listen to our customers.
Sure.
You're growing something, and then you come back and you give me feedback on it. Oh, yeah, it did great. She's somewhere. No, it didn't do worth it. Okay, so there's something going on. And north half versus south half or whatever.
Absolutely. And after 100+ years of customers, I mean, that's the best database you can ever find, Forget the internet. You've got 100+ years of experience on this patch of dirt talking about it with people that have been doing with it for 100+ years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're not going to find better educated people on this soil than right there.
Yeah.
Because they just by default have been here.
Dad alone has like 60-something years.
Yeah.
He was working down there when he was like think 9.
They can learn so much just by being there. You know, not to mention the years of training, all
and
the
learning
stuff,
from his
experience.
grandfather, from his father,
Just
from
standing in the room for that long, some of it's going to absorb onto you. Let alone when you actually pursue and seek it.
Because I'm the world's worst. I mean, you put a book, open it up, and I'm looking at it going. And then I'll go to my phone and be like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
So-and-so, hey, you remember when you did, oh, yeah. What happened? Oh, yeah, okay. And I'm like.
And that's kind of, and I like that way too. Yeah, you can give me a set instructions, I can follow and figure them out, but I absorb and retain it better when I'm physically, okay, you need to do this. All right, then what? This.
Yeah.
And that's a hands-on.
Is that a military thing?
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Okay.
It's by design. They train you that way. So.
You ever look at instructions on things, you can tell between if a man wrote it or a woman.
Yeah, because there's pictures.
If it's pictures, a man wrote it. If it's all words, a woman wrote it.
Yeah.
So,
But if you're looking for bees or you want to get into beekeeping,
Absolutely. Anything like that, or if you're just regular garden variety planting, seeding, grass growing, all that.
This is weed time.
It is spring.
We got you covered. I mean, weeds in the grasses, weed in your garden, whatever.
Okay, real quick. Oh, we're almost out of time, but real quick. If someone wants to start a garden this season, what would you recommend they start looking at as far as veggies and all that? The types of things they should keep grabbing?
Everything right now.
Okay.
You should have had your tomatoes and peppers started a little early.
Okay.
For the people that are listening, April 1, we will have our tomato and pepper starts out.
Okay.
For the other people listening, around April 1st, we should have the geraniums out. We get calls every day, which I understand.
Sure.
It's warm out. Everybody wants it. I'm the same way. Don't feel bad.
Sure.
I'm like,
don't plant it until after April 15th.
Despite what the weather's telling you, it's still too early.
We had a freeze the night before last. We are in spring, in New Mexico. You leave in a jacket, come home in shorts. And then the next morning, you leave in shorts and come home in a jacket.
Sure. Well, I mean, you look at this week. It's going to be 60s one part of the week and 80s by the end of it. So yeah.
So we're telling everybody to call.
Gotcha.
Just call the store. We'll tell you, yes, we have them out. No, we don't have them out yet. If you want to pick up seeds, now's the time. Go ahead. Come in. And, most people don't realize we germinate our seeds every single year. Industry standards, they're not dad's standards. And a lot of people always ask, oh, I'm not a guild. No, but I call dad because I respect that man that much.
Sure.
His standard of seed is way above what industry standard is. If the seeds don't germinate above like a 78, they're gone.
Gotcha.
Where industry standard might be 52, he doesn't play
so
that.
what's acceptable for the government standard or industry standard is not his standard. He's like, that won't cut it here.
Yeah.
Hence another reason why Roswell Seed's been around for 100
And if you try to cut that corner, trust me, Mr. Gill doesn't say very much, but when he lays into you, oh, it's a pain. I've had my butt chewed by the best.
That's actually that's a compliment. That's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So.
Deadline to order bees is April 1st.
Okay, so you got this week to get her done.
Yeah,
basically.
So Saturday is deadline because we have to give the lovely people in Navasota enough time to get everything ready.
Sure.
Because when we go up there, we have to load X amount of packages of bees, and then we have to stop off on the way and make deliveries and drop offs, and then come back here so everybody can pick up on the morning of Saturday the 15th.
Okay.
8 a.m. starts the time to pick up.
All right. But this is your last week to order.
This is the last week to order. Yeah. If you do not have a beehive and you need a beehive and you need the
call.
You need the everythings, come down, call. Either get one ordered, get one picked up, because you have to paint your beehive. You cannot just stick it out brown wood.
Okay. And in 2 weeks here, you're going to have bees.
And you cannot paint it with the bees in it. So you need to get it painted, dried, set in its location where you want it, and ready. So that way when you pick up your bees, all you are doing is
transporting them to your new home, basically.
Yes.
And you can make the beehive pretty. Our beehives are pretty.
Yes. Okay.
Put
so
your personal stamp
I
on
paint like a kindergartner, and I don't care. But the bees like it, and bees can actually recognize symbols to know what hive is theirs. If you have an X on it, they know that that's theirs. If you have home written on it, they know that that's theirs. They recognize it.
Okay.
Orange and black do not. I cannot emphasize enough. No orange and no black.
No bulldog fans, huh?
No, because it represents a hornet. And bees go into attack mode.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Somebody went to go check bees in black pants.
Orange shirt. He went in an orange shirt and I went in black pants.
So don't go on Fridays if you're going to a game.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Sorello. New details in the arrest of a murder suspect in Roswell. 34-year-old Samantha Shull is accused of killing Mario Delgado Jr. in Albuquerque. Police there said 27-year-old Jeffrey Contreras, along with Shull, set Delgado up to rob him on February 10th. Shull had contacted Delgado, got his address, and the pair drove to his home. But as Shull went inside, police said Contreras then knocked on the door and demanded money from Delgado as he answered. Shull, police said, shot the man in the back before the pair fled. Police received a tip that Shull was in Roswell on Friday after painting her car a different color. A Carlsbad area oil and gas operator now fined $440,000 for alleged violations of federal air pollution regulations 3 years ago. The facilities, all located in Eddy County, Chisholm Energy Operating was found to be in violation of the Clean Air Act during an aircraft inspection in 2020 throughout the Permian Basin region. This past week, the EPA announced the fines for violations at 8 facilities, noting leaks and unauthorized emissions from storage tanks owned by the company. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Let's catch you up with Goddard Baseball because the Rockets were part of the Sal Puentes Memorial Tournament over the weekend in Rio Rancho, and it was it's an up-and-down tournament. Goddard fell to Rio Rancho in the first round, which we had reported to you. Rio Rancho ended up winning the whole tournament. But then on Friday, Goddard fell to Academy by a score of 11-9. On the upside, the Rockets finished off the tournament with a 12-0 shutout over Artesia, and that puts Goddard's record now at 7-4 on the season. In that game, Mike Matheson was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Chase Holloway, 2 RBIs as well. Tyler Conrad and Garrett Langley combined for the shutout over the Bulldogs. Goddard next in action today. It's a doubleheader at Clovis. That starts at 4:30 this afternoon. Roswell, meanwhile, also playing a doubleheader today at home against Portales. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And it's 8 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A community comes together to grieve. A vigil last evening for those killed in yesterday's mass shooting at the Covenant School in Nashville's Green Hills neighborhood.
Police say the transgender shooter who killed 3 kids and 3 adults at the private Christian elementary school in Nashville Monday was a former student of the school. Officials say the 28-year-old biological woman who was living as a man had a manifesto and had planned to attack 2 schools, but decided against the second school because it had security in place and was not a soft target. Police also say she expressed resentment at having to attend the Christian school in the past. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Police have released a video of the shooter roaming the halls of the school. The attacker was subsequently shot and killed by police. President Biden, who calls the attack sick and
a family's worst nightmare,
wasted no time repeating his call for more gun control. The New York grand jury investigating former President Trump is not expected to meet today as the indictment watch continues.
It's another day of tight security here at the courthouse and in front of the DA's office. Yesterday, the grand jury heard from David Pecker, former National Enquirer publisher and Donald Trump friend. The ex-president is being investigated by the Manhattan DA over payments during his 2016 campaign to 2 women who allege affairs with him, something Trump denies. Pecker's company paid one woman for her story, but never ran it. Last night on Sean Hannity's show, Trump called the investigation election interference. In Lower Manhattan, Julie Walker, New York.
Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is up 23 points, while the Nasdaq is trading 80 points lower, and the S&P is down 10 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
People ask me sometimes, Lance, I'm worried about my finances and I feel bad because I shouldn't be worried, right? I realize that inflation is going to be eating up money. I've got to do something to get around this crazy stock market and Biden's spending spree. Gold has, since the beginning of time, been the resource that God's people have relied on. The silver is mine and the gold is mine, is what the prophet Haggai said during a time of great shaking. To protect your retirement, I recommend that you diversify your 401k or IRA right out of paper assets and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with Gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. I want you to text the words FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898 and get a free info kit on gold IRAs. There's no strings attached to this, so just text FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898 and see what I've discovered here about gold and its ability to stabilize your investment and create a storage of wealth for you in unsteady times.
A voting rights campaign focuses on the prison population.
People serving sentences for felony convictions lose their right to vote. Detainees awaiting trial or serving misdemeanor sentences do retain that right, but face barriers. Expanding jailhouse voting is one of the latest steps to combine voting rights with criminal justice changes. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart says some people talk about the need for prisoners to stop reoffending.
And you're not encouraging them to do the thing that makes us uniquely citizens, which is we vote for who leads us, then really you're a phony. You really are.
Dart has set up classes for inmates on voting. I'm Ed Donahue.
Striking workers waving burning flares invaded and blocked train tracks serving one of Paris's main railway stations. It is a new day of nationwide protest against pension reforms. French President Macron wants to hike the retirement age from 62 to 64. News and analysis at townhall.com. A popular restaurant chain will pay for its alleged anti-union activities.
Chipotle Mexican Grill has agreed to pay $240,000 to former employees, part of a settlement stemming from a complaint that the company violated federal law by closing a restaurant where workers wanted to unionize. Chipotle announced it was permanently closing its Augusta, Maine location last year after workers filed a National Labor Relations Board petition for a union election. The NLRB said the closure was illegal. About 24 employees will receive payments and will be placed on a preferential hiring list for other Maine locations. The company must also post a notice in dozens of stores in New England that it won't close stores or discriminate against employees due to union support. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Arrangements in the works for talks after Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu paused his controversial plan to overhaul Israel's judicial system. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to it. Hope your Tuesday's going pretty good. Swell.
All right. I bet.
Yeah, I hope you're having a good Tuesday. Weather's a little chilly, but I don't mind it. Got a nice change of pace.
It is.
As long as it's not windy. Yeah, I can deal with cold. I can wear a coat, wear short sleeves. That wind just makes you angry. So I don't need it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where just as soon as it hits you, it takes your breath.
No one goes outside. Oh man, I love this wind.
I love this wind.
No one says that.
It does such wonders for my hair.
You know, you might find people that are like, oh, 100 degrees. I love it. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I judge you. But,
those people are odd.
But God bless you.
Yeah.
They exist. There's people that like cold. Ooh, I love putting on my coat. I love seeing my breath. Okay, a little weird, but God bless you too.
Yeah.
But no one walks out and says, oh man, fire weather watch? Yeah.
Yes.
I win morning.
Time to go smoke in the mountains.
Sweet. I can't wait to ride around town and throw my butts out the window. No, don't hear that. So, I guess maybe with the one exception. But I got to imagine they're Goldilocks. The Kite Flyer Association or something like that. They're like, ooh, a good breezy day.
A good breezy day, sure. But when you're talking about New Mexico winds,
we're
talking about winds that'll rattle the trailer park. It's not something that you want to go out and fly a kite for.
Why isn't there more kite flying around here?
You'd think it would. It does seem like it's a.
Is it just a hobby no one cares about anymore?
I feel like it's a relic of a bygone era.
Because the only time I see it now is at a beach.
True, or at like a festival for said thing.
Yeah, but do those exist?
They do. Well, I don't know.
I haven't seen a kite
exist.
flying festival.
It's been a while, but when I was younger, I went to a kite festival.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I was younger.
Right. That's what I'm saying. When I was a kid, kite flying seemed to be a much more popular activity. Like, I remember going to parks back east, and Dad and I'd be out there flying my, the one you got at 7-Eleven at the little umbrella stand there, Those were the best flying kites, by the way.
Oh, always.
The more expensive the kite, the harder it was to get that sucker up in the air.
And the more risky you were taking, because as soon as that thing touched the ground, you're like, oh, please don't break, please no.
Yeah. And so,
balsa wood.
But I remember going to the park, and it would be us and maybe 2 or 3 other people out there also just flying a kite, you know? And I kind of miss that. I kind of like the last time I remember doing anything with a kite was about 8 years ago when we went to North Carolina, and we went to the beach. And guess what? They had kite stores, and there was people, build. And of course, they had those kites that of which I speak. You spend hours building, only to never get it flying or fly one time and crash into a pile of toothpicks by the time you're done.
I would be curious to see if you could still. I mean, I know they probably sell them in stores. It's a very niche item, like as far as toys go. I'm sure they sell kites, but I'd be curious if like hobby shop. I think there's one hobby shop here in town that might sell like the specialty kites. I'd be curious to see.
I would think maybe if anybody in town would have it be Hobby Lobby.
Well, but there's also that M&M coins over here.
Oh, okay. Do they do a lot of hobby?
I don't even know if they're still open, but they always had like collectibles, coins, model cars, die-cast vehicles, things like that. So I wonder if maybe they would have like kites or something.
I know in the mall they got that place, like the cell phone store, but they also sell like radio controlled planes and things, not kites per se. But I did see some planes, and I'm like, or helicopters, and I ain't gonna lie, the child of me said, because I was in there to go get a case for my iPad a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago, and I'm walking in, and then of course Kim was with me, and iPhone phone cases are like purses now.
Yeah,
they gotta buy them. So naturally, I found what I wanted. Said I want that, give me that, paid for that, and then for the next 10 minutes, my wife's wandering around looking at cases to pick the favorite bedazzled one for her phone, which she did. So while she was doing that, I'm like, all right, man, waiting with wife with purse, don't sit in chair and corner. I started looking at the helicopters and everything, and just for a hot minute, and they had these cars, man, these I think they were radio control, but they looked like model die-cast metal cars. They looked amazing. I'm like, I want one, and then I looked, and they're like $300 a piece.
Oh yeah, they're ridiculous.
I said, no. I want a $30 phone case here.
Just gonna pass on that one.
But back to the kites. Yeah, I wonder, like, what is it now? Is it just New Mexico that people don't care about kites around here? Is that
I don't know.
A beach thing that it's
maybe
a coastal thing? I know East Coast is big, and then I'm assuming West Coast as well. I've seen Karate Kid movies and things, and seen what they do on the West Coast when they're, celebrating and recreating.
Right.
I just don't get it. I'm like, New Mexico would be an ideal place to fly kites.
I would
think. You got plenty of open air, not a lot of trees, tons of wind, not a lot of places to get it. I mean, you could easily walk to some place in town here or around town, go fly a kite in the desert and not worry about trees or power lines or people, and just have a good time. And I'm like, why aren't more people doing that?
I feel like it's one of those things. It's like a relic of a bygone era. I'm sure it's big in like a subsection of America, but technology's gotten so good, and there's so much on streaming services now.
Yeah.
Who has time to fly kites?
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to keep up with. What is it, Lucky Hank? What's that show called?
Oh, have you watched any of it yet?
No, but because my cell phone was in the room at the time, I've been getting nothing but targeted advertising about it. I've seen all the behind-the-scenes footage of it.
Have you? I've watched the first 2 episodes.
They're doing a real guerrilla marketing campaign with this Lucky. What is it, Lucky Hank?
Lucky Hank.
Yeah, Lucky Hank. They're doing a real marketing campaign with they've done a bunch of him in the classroom standing in front of a chalkboard. Let me tell you what this show is about, or what Lucky Hank's about.
I'm trying really hard to like the show. I'm having trouble getting into it.
I feel like it's one of those things that's not really about anything.
Well, Well, I mean, it is. I think it's just dealing with the life of a professor at a small college who dreams of being a writer and is stuck in a podunk small town college, and he's kind of bitter about it. Yeah. And I think he's probably smarter than most people in the room, but he also acts like he's, you know what I mean? He flaunts that. And so he doesn't have many friends. So it's kind of, and like the one person that gets him is his wife. You know, that's kind of the premise of the show. He goes off the rails. His wife reels him in. You know, that's pretty much the premise of the show. And I like it. My wife's about to bail out. She's kind of like, you know, but because of the cast, you know, obviously, you know, Bob Odenkirk, I like him. But Diedrich Bader's in it. I like him. The dude from Reno 911's in it. I like him.
Yeah. Cedric Yarbrough.
Yeah.
It does look like it's a pretty decent cast and you know, a well cast show. I feel like it's one of those things that you're gonna need to give it a few episodes to kind of.
That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna hang, but I ain't gonna lie. It's not been exciting to watch. I haven't the new Lucky Hank's on tonight. I'm all right, let's see if this gets good yet.
It's kind of a miracle that Breaking Bad took off the way it did, because those first 3 episodes are kind of a tough watch.
Well, it's a train wreck right out the gate.
Right out of the gate. That, I mean, it was you know, just the crazy guy, the fact that Walter basically, you know, Walter and Skyler. Walter engaged Skyler like in the end of episode 1 almost immediately. You're just like uncomfortable, and you're like, this is weird. The fact that show was able to have such critical acclaim and didn't just get outright ignored is a miracle.
You know, I would argue that was all about timing.
Yeah.
I think if Breaking Bad came out today, it wouldn't be nearly as successful as it came out when it did. And the reason why is because it set the precedent.
That's true. It established something.
You know, and there wasn't a lot of shows like it at the time.
It's like,
and I think the novelty of it, and you're like, whoa, what the heck? And the fact that, you know, and at the beginning of the show, they sell it as basically a teacher who's got cancer down and out trying to support their family. Oh, he's going to use his chemistry skills to sell meth. What a novel concept. And then you see right out the gate that that's not a good idea, but we go through it. And I just think it was a novel story intriguing for its time.
It's kind of like The Wire. It's like The Wire is simple in its in what it does, what it attempts to do, but at the same time, it was like if you do it now, it would just be another show. But it was such a big deal because it was the first one to do it.
Exactly.
It was the first one to make to establish those constants.
And to be honest, if you watch The Wire today, it doesn't seem as shocking as it did.
It doesn't hold up quite nearly as much.
Like Oz is another one of those. The prison show that HBO did that was right after The Wire. I think when The Wire wrapped up, they're like, here's Oz.
Fun fact, kids, there was a whole 4 years in time when we would just when you would say to someone, "Welcome to Oz," and then an expletive, and they would know exactly what you were talking about.
It was a great show.
It was fantastic.
By the way, kids, that's where the Allstate guy got his start.
That's absolutely right. I forgot about that. Wow. He was in some good hands, wasn't he?
He was. It was the Allstate guy. And the State Farm guy.
That's
also.
right.
Pound for pound, some of your insurance spokesmen came off that show.
Some of the best in insurance sales. Doggone it. Thanks,
Dawned
Oz.
on me.
You know what it is? In order to live in the dregs and sell insurance, you have to have served your nickel first.
That's right.
You got to go to Oz first. You got to put that time in. It's time served to get the insurance game.
By the way, if you watch Oz, you don't want to know what the State Farm guy did to the Allstate guy. Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot about that. We were just talking. I was like, oh, yeah, two guys that are spokespeople for insurance were stars of the show Oz. That's kind of funny to me. All right, it is 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. Peggy Boland with Camp Invention. Is she here? Sweet. Okay, she's here now. So we'll be bringing her in just a few minutes. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have some dry and cooler weather coming our way for today. Wall-to-wall sunshine and our high temperature hitting the low 60s for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. Fair weather for the overnight hours, and our lows are dropping off right around 35 degrees. Some sunshine coming back in for tomorrow, increasing southerly winds and an increase in our temperature from the upper 70s to near 80. Sunny and windy by Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Steve. Jennifer, sorry. I guess Steve's on vacation. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 33%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour. Sunny today, cooler. Highs only expected to hit 58 today. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear. Looking at an overnight low of 34 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. Dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. For your Wednesday, sunny skies, warmer, 76 tomorrow. Winds out of the south 5 to 15. Mostly clear tomorrow night. Expect an overnight low of 45 degrees. Winds will be out of the south 10 to 15 miles per hour. For Thursday, the winds are coming in. Warm temperatures will be in the 80s on Wednesday. Mostly sunny and 83 for a high, but expect some areas of blowing dust for Thursday afternoon. Winds will be up out of the south 10 to 20 early, increasing 20 to 30, gusting as high as 40 miles per hour by Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening, expect areas of blowing dust before 7, otherwise mostly clear, overnight low of 45. Friday, sunny and breezy with a high of 72, and then for the weekend, sunny and 76 on Saturday, sunny and 83 on Sunday. All right, it is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then Peggy Boland talking Camp Invention will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Time for some facts. Zenith Security Services, LLC is 100% locally owned and operated. You may have heard rumors that Zenith Security was purchased by another company. Rest assured, these claims are absolutely false. Zenith Security has been and will continue to be a trusted, locally owned and operated company dedicated to providing our customers the security and monitoring solutions they need for their home or business. Don't believe these rumors. Be secure in your security with locally owned and operated Zenith Security. Call 575-626-3521 or stop by 218 West 1st in Roswell. Zenith Security Services, LLC, locally owned and there when you need it most. You're invited to the Arts and Crafts Fair, happening April 1st and 2nd at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, presented by Jane and Paul Navarez. Find a wide variety of handmade arts and crafts. Over 40 artist booths will be on hand, and many food trucks will be there to satisfy any food cravings. The partner charity for this year's craft fair is the Pecos Valley Public Service Search and Rescue Team. Entry is just $2. Children 12 and under are free. The Arts and Crafts Fair, April 1st and 2nd, 10 to 5 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center.
It takes a long time to develop trust. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, they've been earning your trust for decades. They understand how important it is to friends and family to celebrate a life in the way you choose. The professionals at LaGrone will ease your stress and anxieties. They'll provide the guidance you need to select a service that's appropriate. And that's what they've been doing for generations, earning your trust and doing the right thing. LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, 900 South Main in Roswell. Online at LaGroneFuneralChapels.com.
Artesia Car Enthusiast, Artesia Chamber of Commerce, and Artesia Main Street bring you the 24th Annual Main Event Car Show and Cruise 2023. Last year's record number of cars of all ages and sizes is sure to be beaten as we have expanded areas for vehicle display, added more food vendors, tractor Row, and even a bike boulevard all downtown. We kick things off Friday, March 31st at 6 p.m. for the Main Street Cruise from Bulldog Bowl to 2nd Street and back. Join us Saturday, April 1st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as Artesia transforms into one of the hottest spots for car enthusiasts, residents, and visitors. Please come together to enjoy a weekend filled with music, cruising, friendly competition, and lots of fun for the whole family. Spectators are always free. For more information or to register your car, go to artesiachamber.com or stop by the office at 107 North 1st Street in Artesia. The main event car show and cruise, Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st in downtown Artesia, at paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Hey, Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Trustmark is one of the only roofing companies that's also a licensed commercial and residential general contractor.
Wow.
I know, who cares, right? Well, you should care. You see, a licensed roofer can install a new roof on your home, but really can't handle structural problems underneath. So if your roof needs reframing or your chimney needs a water-diverting cricket, you may need to call a licensed general contractor. And coordinating two companies for your roofing job can get costly and messy fast. As a licensed roofer and general contractor, Trustmark can install a stunning new roof on your home and handle structural issues. This saves you time, money, hassle, and even makes it easier to file an insurance claim. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit us at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning to talk some camp invention, Peggy Boland back with us. Good morning, Peggy.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad. Not bad.
It's
been a crazy time.
It is. We're almost in April. I mean, we're a couple days away from April, which means, to believe it or not, we're not that far away from camp invention.
I know. It is insane.
Yeah, it's early June, 5th through the 9th.
5th through the 9th.
Yeah, and so it's that first weekend of June, and if you're not familiar with camp invention, Peggy's been doing this for years
15
now.
years.
15 years, and it is an amazing week-long camp. It's actually created by the Inventors, the
National
Inventors Hall of Fame,
Inventors Hall of
National
Fame.
Inventors Hall of Fame. It's like, are they the folks that used to do back in the day the commercials for like the caveman with the wheel, and they would be like, have an idea for it? I remember watching back in the day those commercials, and they had like it was like an animated caveman inventing the wheel. It's like, got an invention to get out to the public. I wonder if the National Invention Hall of Fame is associated with that thing. I have no idea if they're not, but same concept, basically. And so they have this camp that's Camp Invention's a national camp. There's camp inventions all over the United States.
Yep.
Thanks to Peggy, we've had one here in Roswell for the last 15 years. And it is a week-long STEM camp for elementary-age kids. Mm-hmm. And they work basically on these 3 or 4 different projects each throughout the week. And
right,
they call them like modules or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But each of them focus on different STEM aspects. Some will focus on some of, and actually we get a little into STEAM this year. With,
yes, we
arts,
do. We get more into STEAM. So
we
this
add
year.
the A to it. But so each activity depending on the project, it might be talking a little bit about engineering and mechanics. It could be more about space and some of that stuff. It could be more about earth science and human nature and animal science and biology, that type of stuff. So it kind of runs the gamut a little bit with each project. But no matter how old so if your kid's a kindergartner or a kid's a 5th grader, they still do the same projects, but they learn it at a kindergartner level if they're kindergartners,
Correct.
and then at a 4th or 5th grade level if they're an older elementary school. So all the kids do the same thing, but depending on their age and education level, they get the customized version of that. So when they come back next year, there'll be all new projects, but they also learn new concepts in a little bit more mature fashion as they too mature and get a little older here. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a great camp. But here's the deal. We got a deadline coming up
Yes, we
here in
do.
a few days. So we want to get on people's radar. If you want to save $25 on the camp cost, there's a deadline coming up here March 30th, which, like we just said, April is later this
That's
week.
Thursday.
so coming up here in just a few short days.
Mhm.
If you want to sign up for Camp Invention and save an extra $25, you need to do it here before the 30th. So
Or
that's
by the 30th.
by the 30th, by
Right.
the end of day
Mhm.
on the 30th here. So and of course now if you're still on the fence about it, no problem. There'll be a discount after. It's not as big a discount.
$15.
Yeah, it's a $15. And then of course, if you're thinking I'd love to do this, but I still can't afford it, Peggy's got partial scholarships, and we'll tell you here a little bit how to do that. But if you're thinking I want to send my kid to camp, but I can't afford the fee, which is a total cost of
$275.
Yeah, $275. So if you can't afford that, which I get it, especially if you got 3-4 kids. Which,
Right.
by the way, that's next thing you know, you're spending $1,000 to send your kids to camp for a week. I get it. That's a lot of money.
Right, that is.
But some of these discount codes will help. These partial scholarships, if you need that, you'll reach out to Peggy directly here. They also offer a group discount, too.
Right.
And that's going to be good up until camp, or up until you
right.
register.
So if you have 2
registration
siblings
cuts
or
off.
3 or more,
Yeah.
there's additional money off.
So you could save $30 when you use the code for 2 siblings. So if you have 2 children, and then you
$30
can
each,
do
right.
save $40 if you've got 3 kids you'd like to sign up.
Right,
for
$40 per child,
Yeah.
which that helps.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
especially if somebody can afford it for the most part.
Exactly.
But just wants a little break.
Yeah.
And that's, 3 siblings
It's like,
or
yeah,
3
I can
children.
afford
that's
the full price, but it's gonna hurt a little bit. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
you save $120 if you have 3 kids.
Yeah,
Dang.
That's a lot. And here's the thing. This isn't you taking your kid to be entertained for a week.
Right.
You're investing that money back in your kid's future because it's a fun camp. They're going to run around, scream, and have fun, and be tired by the end of the day.
Yeah, he's very tired.
But all the things they're learning and are setting the table for whatever these the thing they do this week at camp may be the thing that decides what they do for the rest of their lives of adults. They may you talk about your own kids. How many?
Right.
They're all science. A lot of they do science-based things. And
both of them.
A lot of that interest started by being campers at Camp Invention. You know, that's and so that's really what this camp. Yes, they do, but they get to see why math and science and all that is really cool and fun. And once you expose that to them, next thing you know, you got these kids that are gonna, of course, right? If they're really young, at first they're gonna be, I want to be a robot builder or
Right,
something like that
exactly.
right now. But that involves it into whatever they, as they mature and get older, and next thing you know, they're the ones being the head engineer at one of these companies in town, or
Exactly.
or they're in Los Alamos doing something crazy. That's it all starts at camps like this. So
Right.
sign your kids up. It's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what they're going to be doing that week. About
Okay.
some of the fun activities.
So one of the activities is called Mimic Bot. And I'm going to read right from here because this is a great
It's got the best
flyer. If you see
description.
this around town, the students have received 2 of these already. Parents,
Okay.
your children have received 2 of these already
They go
in the
to
schools.
to public schools here.
They
do
went to the public schools, the private schools. If you have not seen these flyers, they're probably deep down in the bottom of the
They're
backpack.
in the backpack, yeah, next to that old sandwich.
Right,
that's sitting there
exactly. So you might want to ask them about this. There's going to be more flyers going out, but it's going to have the $15 code
Yes.
on it. But anyway, so the Mimic Bot, campers transform their own robot.
You can name it Robert if you want.
You could, into a one-of-a-kind stuffy, and then take their creation home to inspire more original ideas. Wow, I cannot speak today. Wow. This is the Mimic Bot.
Okay, so that's the bare bones
This is
start
the
of
bare
it.
bones.
And they take it
It has
from here
arms.
and give it a personality and give it a character and
Has
give it
some fur.
Good deal.
They can do whatever they want with this fur. It has googly eyes.
All right.
There's markers that the children can use.
Cool. So they can get creative as they want with
They can
it.
get creative. That's right. That's the whole thing. And they get to know the innards. This I mean, the head comes off so they can understand springs.
Sure.
I mean, this whole thing is a cool invention.
They're learning basic engineering and you know, those skill sets, learning about why cogs and things move and why these are shaped this way and why, you know, why this part moves to beget this operation. And it's, you know, it's, you know what I kind of compare this thing to is a more advanced version of the old game Mousetrap when we were kids. Remember the game Mousetrap? And, you know, that game is just a fancy, fun board game. But at the end of the day, it's teaching you STEM. It's teaching you the process of an assembly line and the whole, you know what I mean? And this robot, to me, is almost like a more modern, cooler, advanced version of Mousetrap a little bit. Where, yeah, it's a fun little toy, but the kids are learning the basics of how these toys move and operate.
Right. And, I mean, they can put their heads anywhere I mean, this was so fun. The one thing it does do, though, it does... I'll turn it on so we can see. Yeah. At first, you don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, it's got enough things where your parents will be good and annoyed by it. But that's kids, man. You gotta have every kid's got to at least have 3 or 4 toys that annoy the nightmare out of parents.
Right. And off the table. But it is fun, and what's great about this is there are batteries that can be removed, and there is an on-off switch.
So when you say, "Oh, sorry, we're out of batteries," hey, maybe next time we go to the store.
So I can see it as a cool reward.
Absolutely.
At home.
Sure.
But I can also see it where the kids are truly enjoying this little mimic bot.
Yeah. And it's okay if you see it in pieces on the floor because they're kind of learning and playing with it. So,
right.
That's part of the fun. So.
Right. So, like I said, this is one of the 4 activities.
Yes, we're 1/4 of the way there.
Right. Another activity is called Catching Air.
Okay.
When they design their own mini skate park, campers take on ramps and rails in an epic ride through physics, engineering, and art. So that one's really cool because you get a little skateboard, and then they, make ramps and the whole thing.
It's kind of weird. I remember when I was a kid, and this was 80s, and there were some of my friends were into skateboarding and that kind of thing. And this was before they had the little toy skateboards. And so I knew guys that basically did exactly what this is and built like little model skate parks. They built their own little things. Now in the 90s, all of a sudden, all these became toys. But I remember guys were literally out of cardboard and paper towel tubes and taking little, like matchbox car wheels and then putting them on these little cardboard. And they were making this stuff. And they designed their own little, I swear. So when I see it now, I'm like, man, that was kids goofing off back when I was like in 5th grade or 4th grade or something. And so now to see that they're saying, hey, no, we're using this to teach kids, some physics, some of that stuff, some more engineering, more science here. And I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And again, there's art in that one as well. This one is designing. This one, right.
Sure, skating. They get to kind of make their own art and graphics and things. Yeah.
I know. Another one's called Pop-Up Venture. To create their own pop-up shop, campers use green energy and awesome entrepreneurship skills.
Nice.
So they learn about business.
So a little bit outside the STEM kind of thing, going into business management.
The money.
Sure.
And math.
Math, that's true. Yeah, math and money.
They have to understand,
But this is even a little more life skills because,
Exactly.
Regardless, even if you don't want one iota of science or math, math, it's there. But science and things, you're not into chemicals and all that. I don't care. It would be very good to know how to manage a business, manage money, that translates. It's because if you're going to live as a human being at some point the rest of your life, which that's the goal, you're going to have to learn how to, pay for your food and your house and your, those kinds of things. So teaching that type of responsibility, especially when parents aren't always equipped with that information,
right.
And it's not to blame. It's just, if your parents didn't teach you, you don't know. And we have a bit of that when it comes to finances and stuff. We use some big words in finances and people get scared all of a sudden. It's like, all right, let me break it down. It's actually quite simple once you get it. And so this kind of sets the table for them to have an understanding of that, at least, when they do get older, they get a concept of, planning and preparing and doing things properly with money other than hand it to me and I go buy things with it. You know what I mean? And So it does teach that on top of, the other science side of it, but this one's got a little life skill hidden in it too,
right,
on the surface, which I like. So.
Right. I mean, if you think of the lemonade stand, if you think of, and there are some kids, my gosh, they have some really creative ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Where they could
we lose
market
our creativity.
them. Yeah, they can market them, and they could, I mean, with this, they might, this might be like the stepping stone they need in order to make a little side money.
Next thing you know, where the next food or gadget that we need to have started because they did this pop-up venture in a camp invention.
That'd be cool. Give me the credit. It's because of Peggy Bowen.
There you go. Anyway. Or just a check. She'll take that.
There you go. And the last one sounds like a lot of
fun.
Make
her a shareholder. Like give her some stock
there
options.
You go.
That'll be good.
Invention celebration. The campers become confident event planners.
Okay.
As they set the mood and with lights, music, and an inventive party assistant.
Don't tell New Mexico Military Institute, but you're teaching leadership skills right there.
Yeah.
I know they got the market on that, but that's going to be some of that in there because anybody that's planned any kind of event knows that you need people to do it. And you may not be the best organizer of, best plate picker or best food picker, but if you pick the right people and plan and organize them and move them according, that's leadership 101 right there. That's teaching how leadership. And, oh, by the way, it's always nice to figure out how to be a party planner. So when you do have, even if it's birthday parties for your kids or whatever, you don't have to go all crazy, but at least you can plan something so it's fun instead of a hot mess.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this is leadership 101. This is kids and personalities, and this is as much science in there. This is much life skills as I would even go so farther in saying more so on than the pop-up adventure, because at the end of the day, you're teaching people how to get a group of people to do one thing together. I mean, when it comes to event planning, that you break it down to bare bones. That's kind of what you're doing is getting a group of people all on the same page to execute and perform a task. In this case, it's to make sure this event happens. So you're teaching so even if they don't want to plan an event ever, the skills they're learning will translate into any leadership-based thing, whether they go on to the military or go be a sports coach at a high school or whatever they decide to do. That leadership skill is going to come in handy. And it all started because they learned to plan events at a little fun camp convention thing. So that's cool. I love that they kind of, incorporate everyday life stuff.
Yes.
Into and that's what makes it so great because science can be intimidating. I'm not the most proficient person at science and math because I just, as a kid, wasn't geared that way. My brain, there's a reason I'm in talk radio and not doing science. I was more into English and things than I was into in history than I was into math and science. But I blame that on the fact that I wasn't presented it in a way. To me, it was just numbers, learn this, and do it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like if someone said, see that robot over there or see that cool fighter? That's all science and math, and this is why. And I think if someone explained it to me that way, I think I would have embraced it more instead of kind of looked at it like, well, that's just not something I'm into. Which, at the end of the day, I actually am if you, I'm not into learning formulas, but I love cool robots, and you know what I mean? It wasn't presented to me that way, and I think that's why Camp Invention's so cool. It's when, take these things that if you teach it to them in a certain way is going to make them avoid it like the plague and think it's some kind of voodoo. And sure, we all like the conveniences, but it's like I don't want to understand why it does that. It's too much to wrap my head around. But this way presents it into let's be curious. Let's find out why is that orange? I don't know. Let's cut it open and find out. That's it's basically taking the concept of science and bringing it to that level and saying let's explore. Let's do things. This is how we push the envelope to the next thing. You want to find out what your ancestors or what your future generations are going to do. It's stuff you're learning here that's going to set the table for that next generation. And that's science and math right there.
Exactly.
So talk about this with your children. If you're trying to get them involved and saying, hey, my kids need to be exposed to some of this stuff, sign them up. I guarantee, even if first they're like, I don't know, I want to just stay home and watch, play games all day or whatever I want to do. It's like, now you come, and that's the beauty.
It's a week.
It's a week long. It's 9 to 3:30.
Yep,
it's not
day camp.
Yeah, it's not they're not gone away, so they come home at night. So you don't have to worry about homesickness and some of the things you worry about with some of the sleepaway camps. And they come home every day. They're going to be excited. They're going to be telling you about all the things they did at camp. It's a fun-filled, action-packed day. Now, good news is, like we said, 9 to 3 is the camp. 3:30 is the camp time.
Yes.
However, if those hours are a bit short for you, there is an extended camp option for folks. Like, and it actually starts a couple hours early, and then goes a little after. It's not part of the normal camp. You know, you're not missing anything if you don't do it. But for those that choose to do it, they get extra activities and things that they'll work on in that hours before the camp and then the hours after. That way, if you've got to be to work or I don't get off work until 4:30, I can swing, you know, that way you don't have a child in limbo for an hour somewhere.
Exactly.
And so that's an option. It does cost an additional fee. I think it's $75 or $100.
$100. But it's 7:30 to 5:30.
And you also, exactly. You're getting another 4 hours of camp a day, pretty much, with it. So, and by the way, if you don't have to use the whole 4 hours. If it's like, well, I get off at 4, great. Well, we'll pick them up at 4.
Definitely.
You know, and you can drop them off at 8 o'clock or 7:30 as opposed to 9 or 9:30 here. So. Definitely.
Yeah, it's flexible. Those extended hours are flexible. Friday afternoon, we don't have it though.
Yeah,
because we're cleaning up.
That's the fun day, the show day and everything, and then camp ramps up a little early that day. The camp again will be June 5th through June 9th from 9 to 3:30, and it's going to be at once again at First United Methodist Church, a couple blocks over here,
200
on
North
Pennsylvania Avenue. Thank you again to First United Methodist Church. They are such a great giver of their facilities for folks in our community. I know they've been hosting you for a couple of years here.
This is our second year there.
Yeah, they of course I know I'm with American Legion. They've been hosting us for years now. They every night there's something going on that's not technically officially with the church there because they just let people, you know, it could be jazzercise one night in there.
Right.
They're a very good partner of the community. So thank you to First United for once again opening their doors and letting this camp happen. By the way, they do school and everything else there. So it's a really good facility for something like this because they got a lot of space and
they do have
a lot of classrooms,
and
a lot of
nice.
resources to do that kind of stuff. So it's a good thing. Now, if you want to do some of your own research, I invite you to go to the website.
Invent.org.
That is it.
/camp, or just Google and Camp Invention.
Yeah, you can Google Camp Invention, but invent.org will take you there. And then the first thing you'll see is find a camp near you. It's like a little tab. Click on that, type in Roswell, New Mexico, just in case there is a camp in Georgia, but in the NM.
Yeah.
And then you'll see all the information for this camp, and then you can sign up directly through there. Now, back to this money thing here.
Yes.
If you do this before the end of day here on the 30th, and you enter in offer code WONDER25, like there'll be a little box there. You see, enter offer code WONDER, WONDER, the number 25, all one word. And in that thing, they will discount $25 off your camp fee.
Correct.
But you got to do it before the close of day on
March
the 30th here. If you have multiple siblings that you would like to sign up for camp, save you more money. Don't use the WONDER25 code. If you have 2 kids that you would like to put through camp, use SIBLOVE30, SIBLOVE, love 30, all one word, and use that anytime you register for camp. You don't have to wait. It can be even after the 30th here, and you're going to save $30 per child.
Right.
If you got a third child you'd like to sign up for camp,
Or 4 or 5.
SIB Love 40, and then you will save an additional $40 per child 3 and up. So if you got 3 kids, 40 off, 4 kids, 40 off, 30 kids, 40 off.
Right.
100 kids, you get your own camp invention.
Thank God love you.
and then, of course, after the 30th, there's going to be a Save 15 camp, but we'll worry about that next month. Let's just worry about this. Now, if you were listening earlier and need a partial scholarship, if you're thinking, you know, I would love to do this, 25 is not going to be enough for me, or 30 or 40 is not going to be enough.
Because it's $275.
Yeah, for the entire camp here. Call Peggy Boland directly. And I'll give you the number here in a second. Do not register through
Correct.
the website. Let Peggy register you, because she's going to talk to you, and she's going to, because of the money thing, if you do it through there, then you've got to pony up the money. But if you do it through her, she can pay through there. They've got an account that sets up through actually Camp Invention. Thanks to many fine donors here. They've got a bank account that's earmarked specifically for Roswell campers that you can donate through the website directly or give to Peggy, and Peggy puts it in there. But either way, so we have a pool of money that's available there right now, thanks to people over the years donating.
Yeah. The Roswell people are wonderful.
And so we can help. Now, that being said, because Peggy's wants the family invested in this, she's only offering partial scholarships. Now,
correct.
We can help out immensely depending on need and everything else, but she wants you to have skin in the game. She wants you to make sure that your kid comes, because when people are handed things, I mean, this is just a life lesson. It's just not judging or anything. It's just the way life is. When someone's just handed everything and not having to commit to it, they don't always put their heart and passion in it, because I didn't put any sweat equity into this a little bit.
Exactly.
And so even if it's just a couple bucks you got to put in, we want to know that, hey, you're committed too. And that's Peggy's proof that you're just not trying to take advantage of a situation here. You're trying to get you're investing in your kids, and you want to make sure they're going to be there and active participants. And that's kind of the best way we know to help to ensure that's what's going to be happening here. Because we'd hate to give this money and then these kids don't come. Some other kids that really wanted to come now lose that opportunity because someone took advantage of something they truly didn't want in the first place. So that's why you're a little stringent with it here. But call Peggy direct. You can reach her out. Write this number down, 575-420-9955. Again, 575-420-9955. Call her here. And by the way, if you're listening and you're like, and I don't have any kids to send to camp, but I sure would like to help some kids and like to make donations,
call me too.
Call any little bit, whether you got $20, $50,
$10,
$1 million,
anything,
whatever you got. It'd be great. We'll add it to the pot here, and it keeps going over the year. So don't worry, even if we're still talking a couple days out and you just hear it, it's like, no, don't worry. If we don't use it for this camp this year,
we'll use it next year.
Kids next year will get to use it for camp here.
Yeah, we had a little bit. Not much.
Get a little
we
reserve.
actually had a silent auction.
Oh, good. So that kind of...
And that was during camp.
Okay. So that kind of padded the coffers a little bit?
It did, because that money went for this year's camp. So
deal.
I actually had some money to start with because of last year's silent auction during camp.
Okay.
So
very good.
Yeah, so we're kind of... I try to get money as... You know,
And let's face it, because we know it's $265. That's a lot of money for a camp. But if you look at what the kids get, and because all these projects we're talking about, these are all take home. These are things they come home with. They're theirs to keep, and as long as they, don't destroy them, they can use them, as long as they want to. And so they get these things. So it's not like. They're coming away. So that $275 that cost for camp really covers the material, covers the camp itself. We're not even talking the hundreds of hours of volunteer time that Peggy and the volunteers that are counselors and staff on this thing. So really, $275 to pull this off is kind of cheap per person. Once you see all that's going on that week, it's really a lot. I mean, these kits, and they're not cheap. These are expensive things, and so if you can afford, if you can help, please make a donation to help these kids have fun at camp. Who knows? You might be funding for the kid that creates the next miracle drug that saves your kid's life one day.
You might need that.
You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. Is you're ensuring the next generation of kids when we move forward and have better and more greater experiences than we got to do. That's what we all want. We all want better for our kids than we got for ourselves. I think that's pretty safe to say. Every parent, I think, feels that way.
I would hope.
Yeah. So this is one of those opportunities. Come out, be, and if I'm curious. I know we're a couple months out, but is there room for more volunteers and things too? If there's someone listening that wants to,
there's still room for leaders in training. And
we haven't even talked about that. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, the middle school kids entering 7th through 9th grade.
Okay.
there's leader in training, and that's where it's $100 cheaper. There's no additional scholarships available for them. But they learn leadership skills, and they're mentored by the leadership interns, which are the high school and college kids. And I do need a couple more of those who would be willing to come and volunteer for the week.
You kind of have
which
a
is
foot
great.
in both areas. You do the projects as a camper. You know, you get to have the fun part.
Yep.
But you also help the counselors, you know, navigate, help the kids with the projects, if moving them from one activity to the next, you know, all the minutia of running the camp, you're helping as a staff member, helping to do all that. But then you also get to do the cool projects and have the cool, so you get a discounted price to pay, but at the same time you get some leadership and you get to, so if you're a little bit too old for the elementary, but not quite high school ready for, you know, then come be an LIT here and get that experience that way. Or maybe you were a camper and now you've kind of graduated age-wise. Come back as an LIT and go from showing, you know, learning how to do this stuff to showing people how to do this.
Or the LIT becomes my leadership interns.
Exactly.
You know, what's cool about this camp is basically, except for anybody younger than going into kindergarten, because I don't take 2-year-olds, it's basically a family thing because the elementary school kids can go, the middle school kids can go, the high school kids can go, the college kids can go, and the parents can volunteer.
That's true. And they all go to their little corners or their little parts, and then they meet for dinner and to go home at the end of the day.
Right. And so that's what I like about camp, because the whole family can be involved if they want to be.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah, make it a whole week fun outing and do their thing. And of course, here's the other thing too. Friends and stuff, your kids are going to make friends with all week. So,
yes.
Like all you homeschoolers out there, this would be
huge,
great for the social interaction. You know, one of the drawbacks of homeschooling is that social side of things kind of lacks. You can make up for that here at this camp. Oh, and by the way, get a bunch of educational stuff on top of that too.
Right, because this isn't just daycare during the day.
Absolutely.
For a whole week.
This is enrichment for kids for a whole week, and it's disguised in fun toys and projects.
Right, they're problem solving, they're creating, they're inventing, I mean, name it.
When
hands-on project.
When you and your buddies and friends are out standing out on your property trying to navigate fixing something that broke or something, in essence, that's what these kids are doing all week. They're navigating and figuring out, except for instead of a windmill or a well or something, they're working on these robots and things like that are more toys their level. But this is going to translate to that, you know, when they're older and they're out there, we got something broke down or something needs fixing. Now they're working on that and doing basically what they're learning, playing with these robots, and they're applying that, you know, later on. And that's what it's all about is you're preparing your children to be good adults and have options and choices and the ability to go in the path that they want to. That's the thing. You could have a kid that's not even into science and math and come to this camp and have an amazing week and then realize they're into science and math and didn't realize they're not into science and math. This is that, you know, if you've got the child that is a little bit resistant to some of this stuff, I think this is the pill in the cheese or in the candy here to, you know, it gives them what they need, but it disguised in a way that they think it's fun and entertaining, and which it is. But, you know, oh, by the way, we learned you something here. And that's what the great thing about it. So please sign up your kids. Call Peggy if you need help here with scholarship or anything like that.
They can also email me.
Yes. P. Bolin 2016 at gmail.com. That's the letter P, BOHLIN, all one word there. 2016 2016 at gmail.com and shoot an email to that. She'll reply back as soon as possible.
Right, and 575-420-9955 for anyone who needs partial scholarships or would like to donate.
Yep.
I can tell you, you know,
exactly
where to
what
send
to
the money
do
and I don't take any cash. There's no cash.
You don't want. Exactly.
It's going to be check, money order.
Something that's trackable, something that keeps everything transparent.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly.
But don't forget, 575-420-9955, pbolin2016 at gmail.com. Invent.org is the website. Go learn. If you want to read more about what we're talking about, read more about the Inventors Hall of Fame, all of that is at invent.org. You can learn more about the camp, the history, how it got started. If you're wanting some kind of background details, You'll find it all at event.org. Spend you a little time doing some reading. And then when you do all that, sign on up. But don't forget, Wonder25. If you want to save $25 off the code or off the total fee, use that code here before the end of day, March 30th.
Right. And on the website, they can also see little YouTube videos of each of those modules.
Okay, so you can kind of see what it looks like instead of us trying to explain it to you.
Right.
You can actually...
Right. They have little YouTube videos, which is really handy. I'm like, that's cool, because I watched them.
Pictures and video work better than words sometimes.
Mhm.
In this case, it's...
Right. And the kids are always like, oh, that's so cool.
Exactly, yeah. It's the wonder moment. It's like, I want one of those. Well,
Right.
come on to camp.
So this camp, remember, is for children entering kindergarten to entering 6th grade if they're going to be campers at Camp Invention.
Yep. So pretty much if you're in elementary school, that you're qualified there.
Mhm.
All ages through there. Well, thank you, ma'am, as
Sure.
always.
Thank you.
We'll see you here next time, and as the next window here to remind folks
That's right.
to get signed up for
Signed
camp.
up. Yep.
And take care. Don't work too hard.
I don't know what that means.
I know. It's easier said than done.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. It's closing on 8:58. Quick break before news.
At Artesia General Hospital, we want to help you feel better faster. And when prescribed by your provider, IV therapy can be one of the quickest ways to help you feel well again. Our infusion center services include antibiotic or allergen therapies, blood transfusions, and medication infusions for chronic conditions like Crohn's disease and osteoporosis. Whether you choose care at the clinic or hospital, you can expect a highly skilled staff and a private, safe setting with your comfort in mind. Referrals and appointments are required. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/infusion.
This country can sure be windy in the springtime, and we all know the best thing about wind is when it stops. Well, your friends at Roswell Ford can't do anything about the wind, but we can sure help you find the right car or truck. Roswell Ford has the biggest selection of nice pre-owned vehicles in southeastern New Mexico. Each one carefully inspected and backed with a 3-day money-back guarantee. We also have brand new Fords arriving almost every day, so you'll want to check with us frequently to be sure you don't miss something. And when your vehicle needs service, remember that Roswell Ford offers free pickup and delivery, so you don't have to get out in the wind. Or the Roswell Ford mobile service van can come to you and take care of most routine maintenance at your house or where you work. So whether you're shopping for a new vehicle or taking care of the one you have, you can't do better than Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation, at the corner of 9th and Main. Come see us, but remember to hang on to your hat and don't let that car door get away from you.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-817-2871. 800-817-2871. 800-817-2871. That's 800-817-2871.
Police Chief John Drake says the attacker, 28-year-old biological woman who was living as a man, was a former student of the Covenant School who carefully planned the deadly rampage.
We have a manifesto, we have some writings that we're going over that pertain to this day, the actual incident, drawn out of how this was all going to take place. There's right now a theory of that we may be able to talk about later.
So far, no definitive word on a motive. The Senate Banking Committee has launched the first formal congressional hearing on the failure of California's Silicon Valley Bank, a New York-based Signature Bank.
Today we are here to understand just how we found ourselves in the middle of the second and third largest bank failure in the United States history.
Republican Senator Tim Scott would like to hear from Treasury Secretary Yellen, but she is not at the hearing.
It is hard to believe that the Biden administration seriously is concerned about the failure that we're seeing when they themselves are shielding the top official at the Department of Treasury.
Hopes for an improving economy lifted consumer confidence this month following 2 straight monthly declines. Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index edged higher. Following massive demonstrations and nationwide strikes, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has put on hold his plan to overhaul Israel's judicial system. Watching Wall Street, stocks mixed at the moment. Right now, the Dow is up 13 points, so the Nasdaq is trading 105 points lower, and the S&P is down 14 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un is ordering his nuclear scientists to increase production of weapons-grade materials and fuel to make bombs for his growing arsenal.
The report in state media follows a series of missile launches, 7 in this month alone, and rising threats to use the weapons against his enemies. North Korea's weapons tests and US-South Korean military exercises have intensified in a tit-for-tat cycle, underscoring heightened tensions in the region. State media says Kim met with officials and scientists at a nuclear weapons institute and stressed the need to ramp up bomb fuel production to meet his goals to expand his nuclear arsenal. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Protests and strikes against unpopular pension reforms firing up again all across France. French President Macron wants to raise the retirement age to 64. News and analysis, townhall.com. The House Speaker recently indicated that the House will move forward with TikTok legislation.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California, revealed Sunday that lawmakers would be advancing legislation to address national security concerns surrounding TikTok after the social media giant CEO faced a bipartisan grilling from a congressional committee. Echoing members of that panel, the Speaker also rejected the CEO's assertions that Communist China does not have access to TikTok user data. He commented on the popular social media via Twitter. The Speaker did not specify what legislation he was referring to, but he has joined the bipartisan chorus of lawmakers in both the House and Senate calling for a ban on TikTok, a position that also has the support of President Biden. Edwin Mora, Capitol Hill.
Layoffs beginning this week at Disney, which ultimately plans to pink slip some 7,000 employees. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Javelin, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
It's the Trace Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you, Roy.
Yeah.
Mucho appreciated. Sean's in there.
Sean will probably come back in here.
Yeah, he's interviewing.
Oh, okay.
He has 2 shows.
I think he's also chatting it up.
Yeah, I know he's supposed to interview, so maybe they're chatting leading into the interview. But yeah, he's got 2 shows, so when he's not, coming in here chit-chatting on this show, he's back doing a show on the country station. So he's a man who bitty bops around. He's kind of busy doing his other show right now. So, hey.
Weren't you watching some new show?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Which one? Let's see. I try to kind of keep. Let's see.
I can't remember.
I'm half an episode behind on Mandalorian.
That one.
Yeah, that one. I started to watch the most recent one, and then I didn't finish it because I got interrupted. Now there's like 15 minutes left, and I'm just gonna wait till the next episode and then watch that 15 minutes and then watch the whole next episode. So I'm waiting there. I started watching that stupid Hank thing that I'm kind of not getting into, but I'm trying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I watched all the episodes of.
I thought that one would be interesting, just because it's Bob Odenkirk.
And it might be. That's why I'm still holding on, because it's starting out slow, but I'm because of the cast, because of the history of AMC with these shows. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance, but I'm not digging it right now. Mayor of Kingstown, I watched all the episodes of the second season of that on Paramount Plus. That's a dandy. I'm kind of in a limbo though on some of my shows. Though.
That seems like a show that's like your mom's favorite show or something.
Mayor of Kingstown? No, it's dark and gritty. Your mom will be irate.
But like the kind of woman that's into like true crime and stuff.
Like, maybe. It's Jeremy Renner running around, so he's ladies find him easy on the eyes. So there's that. But no, it's kind of it's more of a dude show, I think.
Is it?
It's more dark cop stuff and fighting, and basically the premise of the show is Jeremy Renner is like, he's not a cop, he's not a bad guy, he's the liaison between the cops and the bad guy. Like in this town where they have this big prison and gangs and all that, he like keeps the cops and the gangs at bay from each other. It's just it's a weird dichotomy in this weird town that they're in, but it's an entertaining show. It's the same guy that does Yellowstone and all those others. That Taylor Sheridan guy.
Oh, is it?
He did the show too. It's another one. If you like Taylor Sheridan shows,
right?
But this one doesn't have cowboys and stuff. It's city, but like Tulsa King. To be honest, Tulsa King's my favorite of the bunch.
Okay.
Like someone's going to get mad at me. I like Tulsa King better than Yellowstone. I think Tulsa King's more entertaining than Yellowstone to me, but some people will disagree with me.
I don't know. I can't say I haven't watched either, so I don't know.
I'm a bigger fan of. Now,
I feel like I like Tulsa King more just because Stallone's in it. But.
Well, and that's part of it too. I'm a bit of a Stallone mark. I enjoy a good Stallone movie as much as the next guy, but I love. To be honest, there's not a lot of Stallone as a true mafia type out there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in Rocky, he's kind of a guy that works for the mob as a lump guy, and he did that movie Oscar, which was a comedy, which was kind of a mobby movie. But he was never. So Tulsa King is the first time to see Sylvester Stallone, the Italian stallion, as a Goomba gangster guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of a neat change. Of all the things I've seen Rocky in, to see him as a gangster is kind of a nice change. Kind of the Godfather type role. It's kind of, it's a cool little thing, I think. So I like.
Maybe it was Animal Kingdom I was thinking of.
I watched all that.
That's like your mom's favorite show or something. Like,
Animal Kingdom was good and ended badly. Animal Kingdom, yes. Animal Kingdom.
I like your face when you said that.
Well, I kind of got in. There was a minute where I was watching that show, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of into it. I'm into the story, but the last season, they try to tie it all up in a bow that just doesn't work so well, and it just kind of ends weird. Like at the end of the day, though, it probably should have, because the whole premise of the show is basically a gang family of criminals. that do criminal things, and anytime you have spent a life of doing crime, it's going to catch up with you at some point. And in essence, that's kind of what happened on that show.
Right.
You know, the way it did it, it's like I've been watching this for 6 years, and you end it this way. It's like kind of weak sauce, but that was. But I liked the premise of that Animal Kingdom, and then it got. I think what happens, like a lot of shows like that, it's a really good concept, but they kind of run out of story. And so they get a little off the rails with the story, and I think that's kind of what happened to that show, my opinion. But it's
I mean, just like every show, you know, kind of. It has to jump the shark at some point.
Yeah,
like,
it's a low budget version of Breaking Bad or something like that. You know, it had Ellen Arkin and all that stuff, and but it was Sons of Anarchy with surfboards, basically. So that's the way I looked at it. Sons of Anarchy with surfboards. That's probably the best description. All right, we got to get their interview going, so I probably should wrap this up. By the way, real quick, this Thursday, March 30th, not only is it the deadline to take advantage of that offer code for Camp Invention, but it is also the Chaves County Veterans Symposium. It's going to be happening this Thursday from 8 to 5 all day at the National Guard Army, 1 West Earl Cummings Loop. All-day services include Veterans Property and Tax Exemption Waiver Clinic, Claims Clinic hosted by the DAV, the VA Regional Office, and the New Mexico Department of Veteran Services. Goodwill Industries will be on hand. Local Chaves County veteran organizations will have tables and booths set up. Veterans Healthcare Services and Vet Center, they'll have representatives there for that. Women's veteran programs, VA home loan services, and senior services, plus more. Scheduled events during the day include the presentation of colors. That'll be at 9 a.m. The Youth Challenge Academy will be doing that. At 10 a.m. Till noon, they're going to have a PACT Act Town Hall. That's going to be VA Healthcare, the VA Regional Office, and the New Mexico Department of Veteran Services. 12 p.m., they're going to have a performance by the New Mexico Military Institute Gauss Rifle Team, and then a survivors benefit presentation at 1 p.m. So if you're a spouse of a veteran and you need to know about survivors benefits, things like that, that's a good little symposium or event you want to check out at 1 o'clock there. If you have any questions, want more information, contact Danielle Thompson. She's the veteran service rep here for the New Mexico Department of Veteran Services. 575-416-2284. Reach out to her direct, 575-416-2284. All right, 9:14, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have some dry and cooler weather coming our way for today, wall-to-wall sunshine, and our high temperature hitting the low 60s for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. Fair weather for the overnight hours, and our lows are dropping off right around 35 degrees. Some sunshine coming back in for tomorrow, increasing southerly winds and an increase in our temperature from the upper 70s to near 80. Sunny and windy by Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 40 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 24%. Winds out of the north, 9 miles per hour. Sunny today, cooler, 58 are expected high. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear. Expect an overnight low of 34 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. They'll drop down 5 to 10 after midnight tonight. For you Wednesday, sunny skies, a little warmer, 76 for a high. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 early, 10 to 15 for tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy. Expect an overnight low of 45 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, now we're looking at more wind, but warm. That's the good news. We're looking at sunny skies, high of 83. But with that's coming the wind. Expect areas of blowing dust for tomorrow afternoon. Southwest winds 10 to 20 early, increasing 20 to 30, gusting as high as 45 miles per hour by Thursday afternoon. Thursday night, mostly clear skies and windy with an overnight low of 45 degrees. For you Friday, mostly clear, mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 72. Clear skies Friday night with an overnight low of 36. And then for the weekend, clear, mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 76. For Sunday, 83 and sunny. So warming up pretty nice for the weekend here, but some winds going with it too. All right, it is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview we had with VFW Post 12184 and Healing America's Heroes, talking about the golf tournament coming up in May. Also, a great conversation about Healing America's Heroes, an organization that helps PTSD first responders and veterans all around. They're actually located in Ruidoso, so it's a grassroots thing. It's really cool, but stay tuned. You'll hear all about it next.
To plant or not to plant? That is the question. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Our tomato plants and pepper plants are ready to go. If you plant them now, you might have homegrown tomatoes and peppers before anyone else. Or the frost might kill them. As Clint Eastwood would say, do you feel lucky? You'll either be the smartest gardener in the county or you'll get to replant them all over again. I say go for it. You'll get more practice and we'll get more business. This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, and I apologize to William Shakespeare.
Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means double your tax refund up to $2,000 right now. $1,000 get you $2,000, $1,500 get you $3,000, and $2,000, well, that gets you $4,000 towards your next vehicle at Roswell Honda, and that's on every make and model across the lot. Bring in your tax refund and let Roswell Honda double your refund up to $2,000. Now's the time to make your dollars go even further, and it all starts right here. Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
You're invited to the Arts and Crafts Fair, happening April 1st and 2nd at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, presented by Jane and Paul Navarez. Find a wide variety of handmade arts and crafts. Over 40 artist booths will be on hand, and many food trucks will be there to satisfy any food cravings. The partner charity for this year's craft fair is the Pecos Valley Public Service Search and Rescue Team. Entry is just $2. Children 12 and under are free. The Arts and Crafts Fair, April 1st and 2nd, 10 to 5 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. As proud sponsors of the 2023 Golden Gloves event, let Candlewood Suites of Roswell knock you out with spacious rooms, quiet location, and great pricing. Recover in comfort at our Candlewood Suites, 4 Military Heights Drive, Roswell, 575-623-4300, 575-623-4300.
If you're tired of sleep problems like insomnia, snoring, or restless leg syndrome, the Sleep Center at Artesia General Hospital is committed to helping you reclaim a good night's rest. Our Artesia location offers convenience, comfort, and a team of staff with more than 25 years of experience in diagnosing and treating adults and teens. It's time to put your sleep disorders to bed. Request an appointment online at artesiageneral.com/sleep.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us in studio this morning from our local VFW Post 12184, we have Jason Burke and Mac Dyer with us. And then also from the organization Healing America's Heroes, Eddie Crane as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today? How's life life at the VFW this morning?
Doing good. We're getting this golf tournament organized. It's moving right along, and
good deal.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes. For folks that aren't familiar, our local VFW Post here, they're currently organizing and getting ready for a big golf tournament that's going to be happening May here. What's the exact date and everything, Mark?
It's May 19th and 20th at the Roswell Country Club.
Yes, so we've got plenty of time to still sign up teams. Not too much time, but plenty of time. And, of course, sponsorship opportunities here. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the different ways you can sponsor and things. But this is a fundraising event not only for the local VFW Post here, but you guys have also partnered with another organization. I'll kind of let you, Jason, kind of lead into that and then talk a little bit, and then we'll get Eddie to talk a little bit more about the organization.
So we partnered with Healing America's Heroes, Fort Stanton. And as I've said before, their main focus is helping combat veterans and first responders who suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Sure.
And of course, we've got Eddie here today. He's the founder of Healing America's Heroes out there, and I'm sure he'll have a lot of good information. He can talk a lot a lot better about it than I can.
Yeah, well, first off, Eddie, thank you for spending some time with us. Appreciate it. So
it's an honor and a pleasure.
So
Thank you very much.
So let me ask, what was the reasoning? What made you decide to start this organization to help folks?
Healing America's Heroes is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we established it in 2014.
Okay.
In northern New Mexico. Okay, and we were in the Chama area, New Mexico area. Okay, and we were there until 2021 when we were able to make a deal with the state of New Mexico and lease the old prison facility at Fort Stanton.
Okay.
And it had not been used since 2015. It had been shut down since 2015. So we took it over.
Nice.
And we're converting it over from a prison to a veteran outreach, veteran wellness center for our veterans and first responder, like Jason said.
That's really cool. And
Yeah.
it's great, that we brought life to something that was sitting and rotting in Fort Stanton there.
That's true.
But and the B part is obviously doing it for something good, and I would imagine I know for sure veterans are stubborn mules. First responders are probably in the same vein.
A lot of the first responders are veterans.
Exactly. So they chew a lot of the same dirt. So that sometimes stubbornness is our tool to survive and do things. But to have that facility and to have that available and to see other veterans and first responders take advantage of it, and by their word of mouth, hopefully get some more of these other stubborn ornery folks to utilize your services and everything.
Yeah, our facility can actually accommodate 50 people.
Okay.
We can sleep 50 veterans, and we can feed 50 veterans, first responders at one time.
Very good.
Yeah.
But you guys have a cool program too. It's not just like they show up and they say, "All right, we're going to talk in kumbaya," and then next thing you know, we're healed.
I wish it was that easy.
Me too. I mean, we'd get a lot more of these. But talk a little bit about what you guys do, because this is where the unique part comes in a little bit.
We are a recreational therapeutic program for veterans, and we help the veterans, first responders, and female veterans with TBI and also traumatic brain injury, military sexual trauma, and of course the post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay, so some of it's mental, some of it's physical. When you got dealing with brain damage and stuff, reconnecting.
Yes,
and
correct.
Yeah.
And so we do this through equine and piscatorial therapy. Okay. And that is through fly fishing and horse therapy.
So some fishing and horseback riding.
Fly fishing and fly tying. They also tie their flies. We've got a fly tying.
I zip mine. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I had to throw it out there.
I don't even do that anymore.
We all do, but anyway, when they do tie their flies, they tie the flies and they use them to catch the fish.
Cool.
And so it's quite a unique program. And we've been, like I said, established since 2014, and to date we signed the papers officially the 28th of May of last year, and since then we've helped 30 veterans come through our program.
That's awesome.
Since last year. We are booking and trying to get up to 130 veterans come through our program this year.
Okay.
And the help with Jason and Mac.
Well, I was about to say, you can lead the horse to water, but if you don't have the resources to feed them and clothe them and provide for them and the actual therapy services involved.
I'm actually have become a member of Jason with Jason and the Post. So
all right,
it's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Good deal. So they're going to give you a title and put you to work.
No, I support Jason. I totally support Jason.
Very good. Excellent. Now, how long is this? Have you guys? I'm sorry. What year did you start this again?
We created this in 2014. We got our 501c3 in 2014, and we were working up there in the Chama area.
Okay.
And we've helped actually veterans from a lot of. We've had veterans from Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, Utah.
Great. So you're getting some outreach here.
Yes, all in New Mexico, and quite a few people from Phoenix, Arizona area.
For folks listening, do you guys have a website or some kind of? I know you have our brochures, but if someone want to get online somewhere and do a little reading, is there a place they could do that?
If you could, please check our website out. We're very proud of it. Our website is healingamericasheroes.org, O-R-G. Okay, and they're welcome to call me anytime, day or night.
Sure.
My phone number is 575-756-8557, and we're here to help our veterans, first responders.
And I like it because, too, is I imagine you probably see a lot of vets and first responders that maybe they've tried other things and didn't have success.
Right. Yeah.
And they're looking for,
And see, that's where we have no doctors. I mean, right now we're just a recreational therapeutic program.
Sure.
We do have therapists and counselors available, but it's not mandatory that they have to talk to the doctor or talk to anyone.
You're working on the soul here.
Exactly. Exactly.
That makes complete sense. So I'm curious, what was the inspiration? Was it yourself or family that were dealing with some of this?
Sir, yes, I mean, I'm a Vietnam veteran.
Okay.
And so, the 22 a day, losing 22 brothers and sisters a day.
That number's about to be 23, I heard.
Or more.
Going this way.
Or more.
Yeah.
And so that was our main that was our main reason for starting this, was the 22 a day and also the an alternative to the medications that they're issuing to the, so we're doing, this is a recreational therapeutic program.
Sure.
So we do it outside, we do it, with the heart and soul and the mind, and try to stay away from as many of those drugs as
if someone's going through clinical treatment things, this would be in addition to, not
exactly
substituting or supplanting for.
Correct.
This is in addition to whatever professional care or help you're getting.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Glad to be here.
It's really, and I'm hoping a few people hear about this and say, I knew someone who could really benefit.
And call. It's easy to sign up. You get on our website. The first thing you see is our application. You can volunteer. There's a volunteer application, or if you want to come through the program, the schedule is laid out there in our website, and it's very easy. And if you have any trouble, just call us.
And it's a heck of a way to get some people to go fly fishing with you and horseback riding. If you're thinking, I do this by myself, I got a couple buddies, maybe I can, help them cope with life. And now I got a fishing buddy on the weekends.
Well, a lot of them come in with their battle buddies.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah,
and we've had a couple of them where they've showed up at 5 or 6 at one time.
That's great, and that's good because they'll rely on each other as well to go through that. So that's a good thing. That's a real good thing.
Get 3 hots in a cot. It's 3 hot meals, a place to stay, and therapeutic.
Yeah.
And therapeutic
and military, and you guys can attest to this just as much as Eddie can. That military. That's how we coped anyway. When we did things in the military that sucked, because you do that from time to time. Part of doing it with your brothers and sisters, your comrades. That's kind of how you get through some of that stuff,
That's why I'm in the VFW.
Yeah, exactly. And hence the why VFW and organizations like it are
one of the reasons we exist.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So let's talk the swinging of the balls and hitting par and birdies and bogeys and all that stuff side of things. Talk a little bit about the tournament, the nuts and bolts. It's probably a 4-person scramble and all the stuff that golfers know.
Yeah, we're going to start it off on Friday with the 9-hole best ball 2-person. Just kind of get the juices flowing on Friday afternoon to
warm
start
up a little bit.
And have a little competition, hopefully earn, win a little prize money and stuff on Friday.
And certain bragging rights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I imagine there's a lot of veterans that are going to be walking around this thing, and in case you haven't noticed, we do talk a lot of smack.
I get made fun of because I was a tanker.
That's all right. Yeah, I get made fun of because I'm in the Air Force. It's all the same.
We're not going to hold that against you today.
It's okay. Air Force is welcome.
That's right.
And then
we're in charge of snacks.
Y'all have the best ones.
And then Saturday is going to be the 4-person scramble on Saturday. And
shotgun start.
Yeah, shotgun start at 7:30.
Okay.
And then we'll have an afternoon one as well. We're going to hopefully try for a shotgun start. Sometimes they get crowded up in there, but we're going to
do you always have a log jam or two every once in a while and stuff.
Then in the afternoon, and then we're going into the evening. Do the fun stuff. We got silent auction.
Okay.
We're gonna have a live auction there.
Very cool.
We'll have the award presentation for the winners. And
can you guys still use some donations of silent auction items and all that too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody's out there listening and think of your
Most
atypical
definitely.
silent auction, trips or offering of your business services, or if you got artwork or sports memorabilia or something like that, or things of value, or a package. Spa packages or trip package or a golfing outing or something like that. Maybe a trip out a fishing trip or something like that.
There you
go. But if you have that ability and would like to donate one of those to this event, please reach out. What else we got?
And then in the evening we'll do the live auction.
Okay.
And after the dinner and awards, we'll do a live auction. We're gonna have some live entertainment afterwards to just have some fun when it's all over with and celebrate. And we'll do a couple presentations, about Healing America's Heroes and some different things like that, and just enjoy some camaraderie. And
good deal. Maybe I'm sure they'll get like a presentation talking a little bit about some of the things that's going on with the healing hands, and talking about maybe a few fish stories. Gotta have those. They're almost as big as the golf story. Right? But yeah, especially for all you golfers out there, you're going to be out there golfing anyway. Might as well sign up, come out to the country club, have a great time, and then all the money you were going to spend on greens fees and everything will now go to help two great organizations here. So come out and be a part. If you, I can tell you this, there's always a bunch of fun and food and camaraderie at these events, and it's every time you have a golf scramble, you get a couple people that are very serious golfers and they're doing it, but a lot of them are just there whacking the ball, to having fun, telling fish stories, doing the, what people do on the golf course and having a good time. And if you're going to do that anyway, come out and do it and help some people, that have at one point or another signed their name on the dotted line to help you. So, or protect you. And so we would love to have you come out and do that. So while we're talking about that, of course, you guys are always looking for new VFW members too. If there's some veterans listening and they would like to, maybe they're saying, you know what, I want to get involved with something, because it's a service organization. At the end of the day, it's they're there to give back. I mean, they primarily with veterans, but also community related stuff.
Absolutely.
It's veterans first. We always want to make sure our veterans are taken care of, but kids or different organizations, much like our other veteran groups in town, they're community based things. So if you're looking to get involved, and then if you're just looking for people to hang out that probably shared some similar types of experience that you have, VFW provides that kind of kinship and camaraderie on top of giving you purpose and a sense of belonging in the community a little bit.
Yep. And, speaking of that, we are having a recruiting drive this coming weekend on the 25th and 26th of this month out at Westlake.
Okay. Westlake Hardware.
Westlake Hardware. Yes, sir. We'll be there all day, both days, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
We'll be recruiting, and we'll also, like you said, if anybody wants to donate for the golf tournament,
sure,
we'll be collecting
cash. Is good too. If you don't have prizes to donate for things, but you got a big fat check or a suitcase full of cash you want to bring by, no problem. Come on in.
No problem at all.
Make sure the bills are not marked and it's traceable, please.
Yeah,
but,
I won't ask about it. Why is this in a briefcase?
No questions.
No questions.
No die packs.
That's right.
Yeah, no die packs.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. We left our Richard Nixon mask at home if we have to do a getaway. But
and you can't drive past and throw it out the window. You actually got to walk it up.
Yeah, come on out.
But yeah, we'll be out there, recruiting people.
Okay.
Donations. We're going to have a poppy drive as well. And
if you're curious about your eligibility requirements and things, that way they can talk to you. It's with VFW, obviously you have to serve honorably, but there's certain windows of what they call combat windows that if you serve during these time periods, and odds are if you've served any time in active military within the last 20 years, because
there's a chance. Absolutely.
We've been involved in so many of between stuff with Saddam and stuff with Afghanistan and stuff in between. There's enough there where I know when I was a kid, people were like, well, I've been fought since Vietnam and things. And now it's like, well, there's 3 or 4 different conflicts that kind of will qualify you for. So pretty much.
Well, so in a nutshell, if you've ever drawn imminent danger pay, hazard fire pay, or, of course, served in an actual combat zone, and also South Korean service as well.
Okay.
When I say South Korean service, I don't mean the actual Korean War, which does qualify, by the way.
But if you did a tour in Korea,
then that's also a qualifying ribbon as well.
Yeah, I know in the Air Force that's a remote tour, and there's 2 bases, Kunsan or Osan, and you get sent to one or the other. And I know for Air Force side, you're pretty much spending the year sucking rubber because they're exercising, and because technically, as we talked about this last time, is Korean War never ended. It's still
an actual
armistice. So technically, when you get assigned to a Korean base or base in Korea, you are in a war zone, and you therefore get the hazard pay and all. I mean, there is some perks to that. You want to, if you're a broke GI. Like your 20s, and they send you to Korea for a year, and because you really don't have a whole lot of money to spend money on,
unless they come back married,
right? Then, but learn that lesson. You go alone, come back alone. But anyway,
that's true.
But anyway, if you're broke and an airman, you sit a year in one of those places. Next thing you know, you got a big fat bank account, so it's really nice.
I got lucky. I missed the Korea bullet. I never got to had to go to Korea.
Well, if I would have re-upped, I would have probably gone. I did sit in Kuwait for a while, and then Kosovo. I was a part of that in '99. So that qualified me, but that's kind of I was in the rear of the gear loading bombs. So, but if you are a veteran, again, you come out to Westlake this weekend and visit, or if you're not in town, you guys meet the fourth Thursday of every month.
Depending on
the last Thursday.
Sometimes a month has 5 Thursdays, but the last Thursday of every month, at 7 p.m. at Grace Community Church.
Yeah, and you're more than welcome to come to that meeting. And you guys get underway what time again?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m.
1900 hours, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, that's the other time for you people that weren't in the military. I have guys in radio that weren't in the military.
Yeah,
but because we also use a 24-hour clock for some of our radio stuff. You tell them 13:30 and they look at you like, what?
Yeah.
Or they look at me, what time is that, Mike? 1:30. Thank you. It's like, it's just math, man. Do the adding. They can teach Army guys how to do this. You can figure it out.
Oh, man.
Hey.
That's okay. That's all right.
But,
that's all right, Flyboy. We'll let that one fly.
Working smarter, not harder. That's what we do. But definitely, please come be a part of this, and then come out and if you're if you're a veteran and you're looking for a place to meet some people, get involved. And it's certainly, if you're a vet out there, or anyone really, and you're needing help, you're needing resources, please reach out. VFW Post 12184 will definitely put you in the right direction. As I can safely say, every American Legion post in this town will do the same thing. Pretty much any veterans organization. If you come in, you need help, there's going to be someone that'll put you in touch with the people to get that help too. Whether you need help navigating VA services or something, which we all know that can be a mountain of nightmare.
It's like going through the Wizard of Oz. That's really what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's designed to not let you in. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I used to call it. I'm going to the wizard. I'm off to see the wizard. Anytime I went to the VA hospital.
Sure.
But
and then, of course, if anyone's listening and they're thinking, man, I know someone that could use help with, they're going through PTSD or, like maybe you're not sure if it's PTSD. You just know something's not right with this person. And maybe, because we can't put a finger on it. Just, to us, we assume it's one thing. You don't know. PTSD looks like a lot of different things.
Most definitely.
No two people could have PTSD and be complete polar opposites of how they act and do things. It's just... It's human beings, everyone's different. And so, but if you think that, please reach out, call you guys, and they'll put you in touch with Eddie here, or check out Eddie's website or call direct. And of course, if people are wanting to get involved, I imagine you could always use more on the helping side too.
We can always use volunteers. We can always, that's why we're doing the fundraisers, just to to help support both organizations.
Even if you're good at horseback riding or any of that, or even I don't have a military connection, but
we always need I'm
a pretty good fly fisherman.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, teach your skills.
We always need volunteers.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed. I mean, what kind of, and because for people thinking, because there's probably something that's like, how does out fishing or riding a horse, how it does a lot, because
there's the therapeutic side to it.
And military people are trained a certain way, and I'm thinking first responders, they're probably same thing. I mean, different things they're teaching them, but the same way they do it. And so I think by giving someone a set, fly fishing, there's a certain, you got to do it the right way, or you're going to have a hard day out there, and so
true.
And so I think that responds to military people. If you give them a set of instructions and say, do it this way, they're going to look at it and follow it to the letter. And I think fly fishing and horseback riding brings that element to the therapy. You know, it's like, okay, by you focusing on tying the right tie or putting the right thing, you're able to use that to navigate the other stuff going on in your life, or able to realize there's more to life than what you've created in your head.
Yeah, you know, in these programs that we've got there, we talk a lot about especially in the equine program, we talk a lot about the predator and the prey. You know, a lot of times when were you the predator? When were you the prey?
Sure.
You know, certain times we were both predator and prey. You know, and so we relate that to how the horse reacts. You know, they're prey animals.
Yeah.
You know, and then also we talk a lot about pressure and release. You know, what do you do when there's pressure and how do you release it? And you know, so
using those lessons to actually, yes, teach you to fish or teach you to ride, but guess what? These same things
Principles
or same
of life.
principles apply to other aspects of your
Correct.
life. And I know military, and sometimes we need to be hit kind of hard to see the light sometimes. And that's just, you know, that's what I think this works, because you're giving it's the piece of cheese and the pill thing. You know, you always trick your dog taking meds by putting, you know, in an essence, you're giving them treatment, but you've wrapped in a big old piece of cheese in the form of fly fishing or horseback riding. And so that's what I think you probably see the most success, because people that are resistant to say, yes, come shrink my head and come talk to me, are going to be more willing to come in and say, yeah, let's go hang out and fish for the afternoon.
Well, it doesn't have that clinical environment.
Yes,
you know,
exactly,
I know.
Jason.
I've gone through that myself. You know, sit down in a room with this, you know, guy who just got out of college, and I mean, no offense towards, you know, therapists and psychologists, but you know, it's still hard to talk to them. You know, and
yeah, I get that, because some of the things you've seen and done aren't things that normal people that don't deal with military or first responders see or do. And so someone that just went to college and studied theory, I understand. I'm not trying to, like you said, but it's hard for someone that's seen and done things to relate to someone that really is telling you how to fix it in theory only. Yeah. It's like, just stop being sad. Like, good luck with that.
Yeah,
you
stop
know?
being sad. Find a healthy outlet.
you know, whereas someone that's been there, done that, they respect more. Or someone, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's no different than, you know, alcoholics working with other alcoholics. It's the same, you know, great, tell me to stop drinking. Good luck with that. You know, if I could do that, I wouldn't be sitting in this meeting to begin with, you know?
Exactly.
And I think there's some of that there too with this program, is when you got other vets in the room and others talking that seen as much or if not more than you, and you see them as the example of, hey, they seem to be doing all right. If they are doing all right, maybe that could be me too. And so I think veterans and first responders just seem to be a little bit more receptive to that path.
Yeah, you know, our motto is, you know, vets helping veterans, you know, veterans helping vets, you know, and that's our motto.
Sure.
And, you know, and most of the volunteers we have are veterans that come through, you know.
And I'm betting.
Or are volunteering in respect to someone that was in the military.
And I would also be willing to bet some of those same folks were probably on the other side of the fence years ago, and are now, you know, they've been through that, chewed that dirt, and now are using what they've learned to help the next generation of people going through it. And that's the cool thing about this. And that's what I'm hoping, you know, this thing catches on, and next thing you know, you're like, hey, we got the Fort Stanton chapter, we got the Farmington chapter, we got the Santa Fe chapter, we got the Hobbs chapter. You know, that would all be cool at one point, but it's got to start somewhere. So might as well start at Fort Stanton, right? Or
amen.
Again, give out your website, any place that you would like people to learn more about your organization.
Please come check our website out. It's healingamericasheroes.org. You know, and check out our website. It's most important. Our webmaster is doing a great job. Easy to apply, easy to volunteer. You know, any questions, of course, you can ask them there on our website, or call me personally, 575-756-8557. My name's Eddie.
Excellent. And of course, is there any information that we missed on the golf side, or anything that we wanted to make sure we got sidetracked with talking about other stuff. Is there anything we definitely want to let people know about?
We will have a website up for it probably in the next couple of days, and we'll get that out on our Facebook page and share that where you can sign up and sponsor and everything on that website to make it nice and easy. Or you can also just call, anybody that's on the Jason, myself, or Bob Bolin. And do any sign-ups or sponsorships. And we also have we've had a lot of people step up already. We're still early in the process. And just highlight a couple of them that went way above and beyond.
Let's do that.
Watson Construction, Genesis Endeavors, Perry's Oilfield Service, Custom Welding. They've all went above and beyond what just kind of what we asked for our general sponsorship.
I think
stuff.
they get what you're doing, and that's why they're going above and beyond. And probably when you add the helping Healing Hands here, that's another level of perfect, awesome. So thank you to those businesses, but I can they get it, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and anybody can and there's not we got some guidelines on like what we asked for some any kind of sponsorship, but anything is good. I mean, we'll make it work. We'll recognize you, and we appreciate anything that.
Absolutely.
Nothing too big and nothing too small.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, if you want something formal, there's the different tiers from Medal of Honor all the way, Purple Heart and in between. And each level comes with certain perks and things, entries into the tournament, so advertising, so forth, so on. You guys will be happy to point that out when you call or get in touch and say, here's the different levels. How do you want to help out? And you can do that way, or I'm sure if you said, well, those don't really fit, I want to do a custom thing, here's a bunch of whatever. And whatever that is, we'll figure it out.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, now's the time to sign up. If you want to sign up as a golfer, can you go through you, or can you go through the Country Clubs Pro, or both? Or
you could drop off your information at the Country Club. Well, I'm sure we can pick it up.
Okay.
But if you just call myself or Bob Bolin, I can give out our numbers if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can call me at 575-291-5243.
Okay.
Or you can call Bob Bolin at 575-626-0741.
All right.
Or Jason Burke at 575-910-1860.
Very good.
And we'll get you taken care of.
And they love when you call at 2 a.m. I'm just kidding.
Jason especially.
I really like I like it. My wife loves it.
No, she really loves it.
I leave the phone between us.
And I forward all my calls to his after.
So it goes right to him
PM,
anyway. So if you call him at Mac, it'll go right to him.
I still haven't figured out how he does that yet.
That's why you put him in charge of the tournament. He knows things.
That's what it is.
But please, get involved. And I'm just kidding about the 2 a.m. Don't call him at 2 a.m. But
it's not going to ring.
But definitely reach out. Of course, you guys also have, if you look for Roswell VFW or VFW Post 12184 on Facebook, shoot a message through there.
And LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn as
Yes,
well,
sir.
too. One of these guys will get a hold of you and get you information and all that stuff, too. So anything we talked about here today when it comes to whether you're someone who needs some services and needs help, or if you want to participate in the golf tournament, or if you're wanting to be a VFW Post member, again, don't forget, come on out to Westlake Hardware this Saturday and Sunday, pretty much all day. They're going to have be out front there, and you can come and make donations, or if you want to become a member of the VFW here, or if you're a veteran and you have needs, reach out. There'll be someone there to put you in touch with people. So good deals. Anything we missed?
I think we covered it.
Anything, Eddie, you wanted to mention?
I'm just really glad to be here and really be glad to be with the VFW and what we're doing, how we've combined and working together. That's the only way this is going to work, is us working together.
Absolutely. And thank you for, it's because of people like you stepping up and taking the reins on organizations like this that people get to, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, where do these people turn if you're not
exactly
here? And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Exactly. And so thank you and thank God
you guys. Thank you for letting us be here.
Anytime. This is the easy job. I turn on mics and talk like an idiot. That's all I do. They're like, you're so wonderful. No, I just talk like an idiot and let other people do great things. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time. Okay.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. New details in the arrest of a murder suspect in Roswell. 34-year-old Samantha Scholl is accused of killing Mario Delgado Jr. in Albuquerque. Police there said 27-year-old Jeffrey Contreras, along with Scholl, set Delgado up to rob him on February 10th. Scholl had contacted Delgado, got his address, and the pair drove to his home. But as Scholl went inside, police said Contreras then knocked on the door and demanded money from Delgado as he answered. Scholl, police said, shot the man in the back before the pair fled. Police received a tip that Scholl was in Roswell on Friday after painting her car a different color. A Carlsbad area oil and gas operator now fined $440,000 for alleged violations of federal air pollution regulations 3 years ago. The facilities, all located in Eddy County, Chisholm Energy Operating was found to be in violation of the Clean Air Act during an aircraft inspection in 2020 throughout the Permian Basin region. This past week, the EPA announced the fines for violations at 8 facilities, noting leaks and unauthorized emissions from storage tanks owned by the company. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Americans now are abandoning the values that once defined this great country. Wall Street Journal poll. Patriotism, religion, hard work hold less importance. Only 23% of adults under the age of 30 said that having children was important. There's a New York Post editorial about it. I mean, it basically saying killing the American dream and how the American dream is at risk of death thanks to not just Joe Biden, but decades of terrible economic policy, social engineering from the left.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
You know, a cyber thief can steal the equity in your home without you even knowing. Now, it's a financially devastating scam. It's called home title theft. Now, cyber thieves hunt for the title of your home online. Then they'll forge your signature on a transfer document stating that you sold them your home when you didn't. Then they'll take out loans on your home with your equity, or they'll sell it to an unsuspecting buyer. And by the way, they're gone. Your money's gone also. Your home is not in your name anymore. And now you're hiring attorneys to try and save your home. I protect my home, my equity with Home Title Lock. You should too. Home Title Lock, they put a virtual shield around your home's title. Now, that's the instant they detect activity or tampering around your home's title. They help shut it down and shut it down fast. First things first, get a free title scan with sign up to verify your home is safely in your name. Then mention my name, Sean, and you get 30 days of protection at HomeTitleLock.com. That's HomeTitleLock.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. We have some dry and cooler weather coming our way for today. Wall-to-wall sunshine and our high temperature hitting the low 60s for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. Fair weather for the overnight hours, and our lows are dropping off right around 35 degrees. Some sunshine coming back in for tomorrow, increasing southerly winds and an increase in our temperature from the upper 70s to near 80. Sunny and windy by Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The nation's top financial regulator asserts that Silicon Valley Bank's own management was largely to blame for the bank's recent failure.
Michael Barr, the Fed's vice chair for supervision, says the Federal Reserve will review whether a 2018 law that weakened stricter bank rules also contributed to its collapse. Barr pointed to the bank's concentrated business model in which its customers were overwhelmingly venture capital and high-tech firms in Silicon Valley. He also contends that the bank failed to manage the risks of its bond holdings.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Hopes for an improving economy lifted consumer confidence this month. Following 2 straight monthly declines, the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index edged higher. Layoffs to begin this week at Disney, which ultimately plans to send pink slips to some 7,000 employees. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Hey, Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Trustmark is one of the only roofing companies that's also a licensed commercial and residential general contractor.
Wow.
I know, who cares, right? Well, you should care. You see, a licensed roofer can install a new roof on your home, but really can't handle structural problems underneath. So if your roof needs reframing or your chimney needs a water-diverting cricket, you may need to call a licensed general contractor. And coordinating 2 companies for your roofing job can get costly and messy fast. As a licensed roofer and general contractor, Trustmark can install a stunning new roof on your home and handle structural issues. This saves you time, money, hassle, and even makes it easier to file an insurance claim. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit us at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
This country can sure be windy in the springtime, and we all know the best thing about wind is when it stops. Well, your friends at Roswell Ford can't do anything about the wind, but we can sure help you find the right car or truck. Roswell Ford has the biggest selection of nice pre-owned vehicles in southeastern New Mexico. Each one carefully inspected and backed with a 3-day money-back guarantee. We also have brand new Fords arriving almost every day, so you'll want to check with us frequently to be sure you don't miss something. And when your vehicle needs service, remember that Roswell Ford offers free pickup and delivery, so you don't have to get out in the wind. Or the Roswell Ford mobile service van can come to you and take care of most routine maintenance at your house or where you work. So whether you're shopping for a new vehicle or taking care of the one you have, you can't do better than Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation, at the corner of 9th and Main. Come see us, but remember to hang on to your hat and don't let that car door get away from you.
You're invited to the Arts and Crafts Fair, happening April 1st and 2nd at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, presented by Jane and Paul Navarez. Find a wide variety of handmade arts and crafts. Over 40 artist booths will be on hand, and many food trucks will be there to satisfy any food cravings. The partner charity for this year's craft fair is the Pecos Valley Public Service Search and Rescue Team. Entry is just $2. Children 12 and under are free. The Arts and Crafts Fair, April 1st and 2nd, 10 to 5 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center.
To plant or not to plant? That is the question. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Our tomato plants and pepper plants are ready to go. If you plant them now, you might have homegrown tomatoes and peppers before anyone else, or the frost might kill them. As Clint Eastwood would say, do you feel lucky? You'll either be the smartest gardener in the county, or you'll get to replant them all over again. I say go for it. You'll get more practice and we'll get more business. This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company, and I apologize to William Shakespeare.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 9:58. Getting ready to wrap up today's show. If you missed any part of it, check it out at your leisure. Log on to ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find all of our interviews there. In the 7 o'clock hour, where you played our interview we had with John and Crystal Noble from Roswell Seed, talking about bees and seeds. But they are taking orders for bees, but this is the last week to do that. So that's your thing. Swing on by. In the 8 o'clock hour, we had Peggy Boland join us talking about Camp Invention. So if you got a elementary age student, it's a week-long day camp here June 5th through the 9th at First United Methodist Church. It's a great camp. Go check that interview out and sign your kids up. And then, of course, we just played our interview with VFW Post 12184 and Helping America's Heroes, talking about their golf tournament coming up in May, and also talking about that great organization, Helping America's Heroes, what they do for folks with PTSD through equine therapy and fly fishing therapy up in Ruidoso. So go back and check that out, too, ksvptv.com. Just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, and you'll find them all there, ready and waiting. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have a great day. A little cool out there, so stay warm. We'll talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Till then.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM,